Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Ariel Helwani Show!
Back in your life on this Wednesday, March 11th, 2026. Hello. No, not there. Go to the other one. Yeah. That one right there. Hello again, everyone. I sure hope you're doing well. It is great to be joining you on this lovely Wednesday morning here on the West Coast in Los Angeles, to be exact. Yes, I am still here. It is great to be here. If I'm being 100% honest, I get a little worried around these parts. You know, those Dodger fans, they're still coming for my neck. They're still in my comments and my DMs, so I got my head on a swivel around here. But otherwise, I'm having a blast. Very nice night in Venice last night. Golly, I could see myself living here. I gotta be honest. It's a nice life. I went to that, what's that grocery store, the high-end one that everyone's so worked up about? Oh, yeah.
I've been dying to go.
They make a nice smoothie. I'm not going to lie. It's quite the vibe over there. It's like a movie. You're like, is everyone just living their best life out here? What is actually happening? No wonder they're so happy out here. But it's a great time. I'm going to tell you about everything that I've done over the past 24 hours or so ago. I actually left from the studio on Monday. What a show Monday was. Went straight to the airport. And I do have to say, that's a bit of a mental struggle as well, because I was sitting for about 4 or 5 hours. Then you go to the airport, hour drive. Then you're on a flight for 6 hours. Then you're landing at around 3 a.m. East Coast time, 12 a.m. West Coast time. And then you have to try to... I'm not complaining. I am not complaining in any way, shape, or form. It is nice up in business class, let me tell you. You lie back, you're having a great time. But, it's the life we dreamed about. And so it's been very exciting. Yeah, thanks, Armin. It's been very exciting. I have a lot to share with all of you. I have a lot to discuss. I have a lot to get off my chest. I do want to let you know that back end of today's program, we'll talk more about John Jones. We'll talk about Ilya and Islam. We'll talk about Conor McGregor. Remember that meeting that I told you about on Monday's program? Well, my understanding is it happened. So I have a lot to share. There's all kinds of drama going around in the world of combat sports, in the world of MMA in particular, but very exciting to also share that in about 28 minutes time, 1:30 to be exact, Eastern time, the one and only, the baddest man on the planet, Iron Mike Tyson is going to be joining us. Mike Tyson is going to be joining us ahead of the Mike Tyson Invitational, which kicks off tomorrow at the Sahara, Las Vegas. Very excited to talk to him about that and about some other stuff. I haven't talked to Mike since when we were in the ring in November of 2024, AT&T Stadium in Texas after the Jake Paul fight. That's the last time I spoke to Mike Tyson. So what a time, what a day. Excited to get into everything, but let me tell you guys about my day yesterday in particular. And by the way, shout out to the boys in the back. Shout out to everyone who held down the fort yesterday. We're making a habit out of this. You guys were there doing your thing, doing the special Tuesday edition of the program. They will be back tomorrow, by the way, for their regular Thursday episode. And oh, by the way, shout out to EKC, shout out to Alan Murphy, shout out to MFL, Gable Steveson, Team Steveson. Right before this show went live, we premiered our latest Uncrowned film, which in my opinion is one of our best so far. And I know it's only been like 5 or 6, but this was an amazing behind-the-scenes look at Gable Stevenson's last fight, which was last month, February, in Mexico Fight League. And it got a little dicey there. Spinning back kick, you may have seen it. Hands up. We had all access in the locker room with him, John, Brandon Gibson, Greg Jackson. It was an amazing look, and I think it's one that over the years, if he turns into the superstar that we think he's going to turn into, it's going to be just great content. So check it out. It's on the channel. Check it out after the show if you're watching us live. It's called The Making of a Superstar, Gable Steveson. I hope you enjoy it. I thought Casey did a great job. It was great to be a part of it, and I want to thank once again MFL and Alan Murphy for hooking us up and making all of that happen. And of course, Gable and the team for allowing us to shadow them for those couple days in Mexico. So check that out. Guys, great job. doing the watch party for the press conference there. Did you like that? It was sort of like Mystery Science Theater, I felt like.
Yeah. Great job doing the press conference, man. We just kind of sat there and we were just like, that's cool. That's fun.
I enjoyed you guys watching the press conference.
Yeah. It was a good time. It was a good time. A couple of one-liners from Ronda out of nowhere.
Couple.
Yeah, I mean, Valentina catching strays, Cyborg catching strays.
Cyborg one didn't feel like a stray. That felt like a straight on.
A couple of things that I did want to ask you, obviously, since you were there.
Sure.
How big was that screen behind you? It looked
gigantic.
Ginormous.
It was gigantic. Honestly, it is gigantic. It's actually right next door to where I'm staying right now, and I've never been to the Intuit Dome. I don't think any of us have, right? It's only about a year and a half or so old. I am thinking of checking it out tonight. Clippers are playing the T-Wolves, so that could be fun. The whole outside of it, we were outdoors. I think you could tell. Yep. The whole like outside terrace is so freaking cool. Paintings. There's this one structure which you may have seen of all different like basketball nets hung up, like street ball type of stuff, like the types of nets that you would see in different type of playgrounds. They did an amazing job with this venue from the outside, and everything I've heard about the inside is spectacular as well. So I can't wait to actually be there on May 16th. And I thought that the setup was really freaking cool. Like when I walked there in the morning and I saw Ronda's face and Gina's face, Francis's face, I was like, holy crap, like this is real. I could share some thoughts in the sense that like when you walk there, you know, it had been a while since I was at an MMA press conference, B, a non-UFC MMA press conference. There was a period in 2011, 2012 where, you know, there was the big Strikeforce fight. There was the big Affliction fight, Elite XC fight. Like you were getting some alternatives. And so to be at another one after all these years that felt big, that felt different. You know, people are getting upset about certain things. Like, you know, you get upset about nonsense online. Biggest fight ever. I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. If you don't recognize the fact that Netflix getting involved in MMA, when it seemed like for the first 2 years of their venture into the world of combat sports was boxing specific. They're getting into MMA, the sport that we all love so very much. And they're getting into MMA, not with the UFC. We know that, you know, the UFC talked to them about doing the numbered events there and it didn't work out in the end. This is very, very, very significant. And it's why I said it's one of the most significant events in recent MMA history. It's very significant for us, the fans, for us, the media, extremely significant for the fighters. It's extremely significant for the UFC as well. I believe that when there's competition, and to the best of my knowledge, it's just a one-off. So this isn't a new venture in terms of like, oh, MVP is going to be doing 8 events or 10 events or 12. Netflix is going to be... No, I think they are taking the approach, and Nikisa spoke about this with the media as well. When they did Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson, it was a one-off. If that would have bombed, they were done. And maybe they would have gone and done something else with someone else. But as far as MVP and as far as boxing at that point, they wanted to see how big it could get. And I think it's the same approach with MMA. And so I think it's big for everyone involved. I think it's very significant. I think it's been a while since we felt like there was just an alternative. You have chicken every single night. It's nice to have a nice, you know, steak on a Saturday night. And that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying that they're going to rival. I'm not saying they're going to take them down. I'm not saying that the UFC should be worried. I'm not saying any of that stuff. I just think it's fun to talk about another MMA outfit, if you will. I do want to make something very clear. I saw some people saying, reveal that you're being paid for this. Of course I'm being paid for this. But let me be very, very clear. I have never taken a check. I've never taken a dime. I've never even taken a car service from MVP or any promoter since I made that mistake in 2016, when it ended in 2016. I have been steadfast in that, and I've turned down many opportunities and I understand, by the way, that people don't get this. They don't understand this because in MMA, in particular, if you're on the broadcast, if you're part of the circus, if you will, the promotion, you're working for the promoter. Everyone that's on the UFC broadcast is working for the UFC. Everyone that's on the PFL or Bellator back in the work. Boxing is different. The dudes at DAZN don't work for the promoters. They work for DAZN. Zuffa Boxing is a little bit different, but historically, HBO, they're working for HBO. Showtime, they're working for Showtime. That's why I wanted to work so badly in the world of boxing, because I didn't want to work for a promoter. And so yesterday, I wasn't being paid by MVP. I was being paid by the production company who was putting this on for Netflix. When I did the thing last week at MSG, same thing. When I did the AJ fight, same thing. Netflix doesn't pay. They hire production companies to. Same with their football, by the way. They're not doing anything in house, but usually it's a company called Everwonder. Yesterday was a company called Concom. That's it. So I don't get paid by MVP. And I know it's weird when you're standing up there and you're talking. I get that, but I want to make that very clear. I'm very transparent about that. So if you think that I'm shilling for MVP, no, I'm excited. I am honored to be a part of it. I am supremely honored to be a part of it. I'm extremely excited to be a part of it because it's the first MMA event on Netflix, first and foremost. Second of all, it's the return of two legends, and oh, by the way, Francis Ngannou, and oh, by the way, other names are to come that I think people will be excited about as well. And so this is a big deal. I've never stepped in a cage and done a post-fight interview. I've never done that. I've done that only in boxing rings. So I'm really excited. I hope that came through. I thought the press conference looked great. Obviously, I'm standing there and I'm taking it all in, and I keep saying the word surreal, but it feels surreal. I never expected to do press conferences like that. That was never a part of the dream, because typically the person in my position, in my role, doesn't do that. And for whatever reason, they like when I do it. And I'll be honest, I don't think I did a great job yesterday. I fucked up a couple times, and the Yuri thing last week pissed me off. Saying for some reason that Philippe Lins is on a 4-fight losing streak. I don't know why I said that. There's no prompter in front of me. So that's all off the top of the dome, and I don't rehearse it. I know where I want to get to, and I know what kind of points I want to hit, but I don't know why I said that, and it pissed me off. I think I could do better, but, that will make me work hard and strive to do it again and to hopefully do it again. And I enjoy doing it. I think it's fun. There's a part of me that is selfish and just wants to ask them all the questions myself. There's still a lot of things that I'd love to ask them about, but obviously the media is there, and I'm a member of the media, and I want to give the media an opportunity, so I try to weave in as much as possible. But it was a lot of fun. It's a massive rush. It's a huge, huge honor to do that. And I'll tell you, when I got there, I wasn't sure what to expect. I didn't know what was going to happen. Obviously, my history with Ronda and Gina, well documented at this point. Wasn't sure what was going to happen. And I didn't see them until about 15 minutes before the presser. So I did a little rehearsal. We ran through things. All good, all good. And then I'm off to the side behind the curtain. And the first person that comes is Francis. And so I say, hello, Francis. Good to see you. Last time I saw Francis in person was in Saudi Arabia when he fought Anthony Joshua. I do believe that was the last time. And then Ronda comes, and I wasn't sure what to expect. And I can tell you that we spoke briefly in the back. I'm not going to talk about what we spoke, but I'm happy to say that I walked up to her and I said, I understand in the past there were issues, miscommunications, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully we can move past that. We can have a great time here, a great show. I'm excited to be a part of this. I'm honored to be a part of it. It's a huge deal for me. I have no animosity whatsoever. Wish her the best. I think, life is too short. I have great respect for her husband, Travis Brown. Love to see the family that they're building together and all that stuff. And it was very nice, very cordial. She said she appreciated it. We spoke a little bit, and I felt good about that. I did not see Gina, though, until I was up on the dais. So when she said, it's great to see you, that was my first time speaking to her. And I wasn't necessarily worried about, any sort of awkwardness with her, but, I was just curious how it would all play out. And I thought it was really nice. It was great to shake her hand. It was great to shake Ronda's hand as well. Here I am with Gina, courtesy of Getty. Here I am with Ronda, courtesy of the great Esther Lin. And yeah, man, I mean, if you would have asked me 6 months ago, did I think I'd be up there for an MVP MMA card on Netflix? No. That I'd be up there with Ronda and Gina? Absolutely not. Shaking their hands in front of the world. Like, man, it's just a wild life and a wild, wild ride. And I thought that the two of them were amazing in their own right. They, first of all, came across as so, I thought, healthy, motivated, happy, rejuvenated. The way, and I did an interview for the Netflix series that I guess is the countdown show that will come out before the fight. But I feel like part of the story here is they both left the sport not on the terms that they wanted to leave. And obviously we know about 2009, the Cyborg fight, we know about 2016. And I feel like for a very long time, they both kind of shunned the sport. They wanted nothing to do with it. It was too hurtful. It was too emotional. It was too painful. And to see Ronda in front of the media, like even when she came back to fight Amanda, she didn't do any scrums. She didn't talk to any of us. And to see her talk about MMA, to see her have passion about MMA, and I know there's the stuff with Dana and the UFC and all that, and that I think she's speaking her truth, and it's great to see someone not afraid to do that, good, bad, and different. To see Gina talk about the last few years, to see her talk about how difficult it was, and then to see her talk about the journey of getting to this point, losing weight, getting in shape, fighting again, dusting off the cobwebs, whatever it is, working with John Wood. It's just amazing to see. Never thought I'd see it. That's why I call it a dream fight, because I feel like it's two pioneers from two different eras who blazed their own trail and who brought the sport to new heights in their own right. One brought it to broadcast television and premium cable before that. One brought it to the UFC, and out to see them go toe-to-toe. And I feel like there was some concern, hey, is this just like a friendly sparring match? You saw some of that like mutual respect, but you also, in my opinion, standing up there, you saw like a deep desire to right the wrongs of yesteryear and to go out on top. And that's what I felt. When the presser was over, I waited for Gina. She was doing some media stuff, and I just wanted to talk to her very briefly. I have said many times, how much she has meant to my career and how much I appreciated the time, the access, the interviews, all that and more. When I first interviewed Gina Carano, it was May of 2008. I was a month and a half into interviewing people on camera. I was supremely shy, awkward, nervous, all that and more. And she would always give me the time. That was before the CBS card. And I hated that we had some sort of falling out, whatever you want to call it. And so I really wanted to talk to her, and I wanted to express to her that, and this is what I did express to her, was I felt like when I was going through a tough time, the banning thing, which I'll get to in a moment because it's crazy how life kind of comes full circle. She reached out, she had my back, and I felt like she felt like I didn't have her back during her difficult time. And that was never my intention. That's never what I wanted. And I felt awful about that. And so I told her that exactly that, how I felt. And we had a really nice chat. And I would say it got a little emotional. And I felt these two weights lifted off my shoulders. Someone wrote to me like, man, it was, and I appreciated it. A friend of mine who's in the sport said that it was just it was emotional to them to see two beefs, if you want to call them that, for lack of a better word, squashed within 2 minutes. And this is the way I want to live my life. I've always said I feel like grudges are a cancer in your body. I don't want to have grudges with anyone. And so, yes, it was this opportunity that brought us together. And maybe if this thing doesn't happen, we aren't brought together. But to be able to squash two things like that, two very powerful and meaningful things, two people who meant a lot to my career, who I enjoyed getting to know, cover, all that, to do that in the span of a few minutes was really, really, really emotional and powerful. So I'm so grateful, so thankful, so appreciative to get that chance. And I thought that they did great. And it wasn't lost on me that here I am in Inglewood, California, at the Intuit Dome. Obviously, the Intuit Dome didn't exist in 2016, but we were at the Forum in June of 2016, and that's when UFC 199 happened, and that's when I was escorted out of the building, and that's when I was told that my career was over and a bullet would be put in my head. And 10 years later, here I am hosting a press conference for an event that will almost happen 10 years to the date in the same city, in Inglewood, on the biggest platform in the world. And that kind of struck me yesterday as well. And so I know I'm making this about myself right now, but guess what? It's called the Ariel Helwani Show, all right? So it is about me right now. And I just want to explain to everyone why yesterday meant so much and why it was so emotional and significant and powerful, at least to me. And the timing of it coming off of, all the stuff with the White House and John Jones and Connor and all this, Ilya and Islam, and it just feels like there's an appetite for just a little bit of something different. Again, I'm not saying competition, I'm not saying taking them down, but for it to come 24, 48 hours after all of this, is amazing timing. If they would have done this 2 weeks ago, I don't think it would have hit the same. Ronda saying what she said, Francis saying what he said, and it's amazing to see him up there. Like, you think back on Friday, oh, this guy fumbled. He was released from PFL. Do you think it's a fumble to go from the PFL to Netflix? Like, in what universe? When is this going to end? This narrative. The guy made tens of millions of dollars, fought two of the greatest boxers of all time, arguably beat one of them, fought in an MMA fight in 2024. And now he's fighting on Netflix in a fight that he should win. I thought Philippe Lins was lovely up there, but let's be honest, Francis is the more accomplished fighter. He should win. To see him up there as one of, the UFC's greatest foils alongside Ronda, who is one of the faces of the UFC for so many years, speaking the same language here. And then to see Gina up there as well, and Jake's up there, and he's doing his thing. And it was just, it was a lot. It was a lot to process. But it's why I say there's no greater drama, there's no greater reality show in all of sports than the world of combat sports. That Venn diagram continues to get bigger. That middle part continues to get bigger. Boxing promoters getting into MMA less than 5 years into their journey as well. Francis coming back, Ronda. I mean, just a whole lot. So those are some quick thoughts. I wish I would have done a little bit better, if I'm being honest. I don't love my performance yesterday, but I hope, if anything, my passion and my excitement and my emotions towards this event came across, how much it meant, how much I think it means. And if there's one thing I feel comfortable talking about, it's the history of the sport. And I think when you look at the fact that Gina Carano was a part of the first women's MMA fight ever on premium cable against Julie Kedzie in February of 2007, and then the first women's MMA fight ever on broadcast television, and then the first women's MMA event to MMA main event to headline a major show in August of 2009, and then Ronda with all her accomplishments, UFC, first main event, first champion, all that. It's a big deal. It's historic to see these two eras come together. Add Francis and the other names that are to come. I'm pumped. I'm happy to be here. I could field any other questions. Now, I know you said you had a couple questions, GC, and I stopped you at one there, but if there's anything else you want to know.
I think you answered them all with the...
Yeah.
That was good stuff. How about the spacing? They were very separated.
Okay. Up on the dais?
Yeah, like the difference between Francis and Ronda and Gina and
I don't know.
Philippe.
That was not my doing. Did it look too far apart? What are you trying to say? I don't get it. Was it too much space?
There's just a lot of space between them.
I think they were trying to. I don't know. I didn't even think of it, but I think that they were trying to cover. It's a huge screen. It's a huge stage. I think they were trying to cover that up. I don't know. Maybe
that's what Rick said.
All right.
No, but yeah, you pretty much answered everything. I was going to ask about the before. Did you run into them? How were the nerves as everything was starting?
It was. I mean, the palms were sweaty. Not gonna lie, the palms were sweaty.
Knees weak.
Knees weak were not so much.
Spaghetti?
No bomb spaghetti. No, but the palms were definitely sweaty. I mean, I'm holding that microphone too. I don't like when you're up there on the thing to talk into the mic. I like to hold the damn thing. I don't know. That's not traditional, but I like to feel in control. It's very hard for me to not rifle off all the questions. I got to be honest. It's very hard. And then some people are coming up there asking 3-4 questions. Like, golly, can we speed this up? I got shit that I want to ask. But overall, I thought that there were some highlights there. As you guys mentioned, I think a couple people catching strays. Cyborg, one of them.
Please, this was not a stray. We need to stop calling this a stray.
Okay, this was
aimed and fired straight at her. This was not a stray by any means.
I have to say before you answer, I was also keeping an eye on the MVP stream and the Netflix stream. Cyborg was active in the MVP chat, answering all these questions and everything like that.
Oh, wow.
And as soon as Ronda said this, she said it as she was saying it on the stream. She disappeared off there, and I guess on Twitter. Yeah.
Well, okay. So Gina says something about the 5-round fight.
Yep.
Ronda then says, I'm gonna say a little bit more, and then goes off. And then I guess Cyborg has since responded on social media. Cyborg or whoever runs her social media. And so here's what she had to say.
Well, before you read what she had to say, Ronda called her a cheating, roided up bitch. We gotta be clear about
she said this. She has said some version of this over the years.
She's never been shy about Cyborg, for sure.
Yeah, so what did Cyborg say? She said the problem with Ronda is that she actually isn't a very nice person outside of the character. She attacks Valentina, but everyone knows the rumors of Ronda's company relationships. She saved Gina, but hid behind a pillow herself. Now the narcissist is back to save MMA. I mean, if I'm being 1,000% honest, I don't think Chris is writing these tweets, but it is coming from her account. This is the fight. This is the feud that will never end. So there you have it. She also mentioned, here's another one from Cyborg, the narcissism of Ronda Rousey to be charming. There's no world where she does that tough girl talk and then actually fights me. Gina Carano, you do move different. You are classy and genuine. And then she mentioned something about Valentina. I don't know if she's trying to build a fight there. Valentina responds, it's 2026. Fighters using OnlyFans is just a new way to connect with the fans. Looks like Ronda slept too long after her last fight. Golly. I can't tell you this, guys. We do have breaking news. We have breaking news.
Okay. What we got?
Okay. One of the first things I asked Gina Carano about was how this all came together. Do you remember her saying that she got a call from Dana White in 2024, in December of 2024? How long is that clip? Do we have that clip? Because I know we're getting up against... Okay, so we won't play because we're going up against the clock here. But she sent, you all heard it, she said, I got a call from Dana White in December of 2024 telling me, hey, are you interested? Ronda's pregnant, but we're interested in making this fight. Ronda then goes on to explain that, hey, like they were talking about that being the last ever ESPN pay-per-view in December of 2025. A year later, she had to get in shape, all this stuff. It didn't work out. She's mad at Hunter Campbell. They didn't want to pay for it. You know the drill. And I was thinking about it afterwards, and I was like, wait a second. This timeline is very, very interesting. December of 2024, last pay-per-view, 2025. Wait a second. Do you remember that press conference in Tampa at the very end of the year, December of 2024, when Dana White dropped a hint and a tease of what was to come next year, something that we could have never imagined that came out of the blue? Do you guys remember this? In case you forgot, take a listen.
I anticipate a lot of big fights. I got something in the works right now. I'll drive you fuckers crazy. All you guys will be running around. I got something in the works that you will never fucking see coming for 2025 that literally started to come together last night. And we got some fun stuff coming up.
We finally got the answer to that mystery. We finally figured it out. It was that fight. It was Ronda versus Gina. That was the one. We were talking about, what's this fight? Is it Tom, John? Is it this, that? And I want to give a shout out to our friend, She Only Loves Gloves. I believe that's the name. Is that the name that we credited up there? Gloves. She Loves the Gloves, excuse me. Shout out to Georgia, who did post this, but I was actually gonna bring it up myself, but I want to give her credit because she did tweet it and credit us as well. That's the one. So look at the enthusiasm, look at the excitement. And does that mean we can add this fight to the list of the fights that they haven't made over the past year, or maybe even more than that? Ilya, Islam now, and all these other, John and Ngannou, John and Aspinall, on and on it goes, John and Pereira. Crazy, right? I thought you guys would be excited about this.
I think we can absolutely add it to the list, because Ronda also says that when she talked to Dana White was like, yeah, we're just not going to be able to pay you. So don't let me stop you from making money. Go out there and get what you're worth. So there was, again, the UFC just being like, nah, we're just not going to fork up the dough.
What do you think the reaction would have been if this was the final ESPN pay-per-view? Gina making her UFC debut, Ronda returning after 9 years at that point.
I think people would have been excited. I do think it probably would have been met with many of the sentiment that people are saying, like, oh, this is a fight we wanted to see 10 years ago. They haven't fought in a combined 27 years or whatever it is. We haven't seen Gina since 2009. I think you still would have gotten a lot of that, but I do think there would have been excitement as well.
See, I think, and Rick, I'd like to get your opinion. I don't know if he's available, but I think people would have been pretty excited. I think they would have said this is a cool way to end the ESPN run. I think sometimes people meet these things with criticism just because it's not the UFC. I know that sentiment is changing a little bit, but I think that people would have been pretty jazzed up over it. I mean, look, the last UFC on ESPN pay-per-view was Petr Yan versus Merab, which was, a fine fight, a great performance, my performance of the year. But this would have, I think, ended the pay-per-view era in a very unique and fun way. Like it would have felt, I think, special. I'm just happy that we finally got the answer to that mystery. Perhaps someone can ask Dana White about it. I wonder if he'll actually reveal that and admit it as well. But the timeline is there, and I was talking to some people as well, and it feels like that's the one. And so amazing, Ronda keeps talking about like, Dana's an employee and he can't, he couldn't make this fight happen. He doesn't like the White House card and all this stuff. I'm very curious to see how he responds to all of this. Like, if you're Dana, are you loving this? Being called an employee and all that? I think it's really mind games.
Yeah, I don't think he's liking any of it. I don't think he's gonna respond to much of it. And I could see him denying that this was the fight that he was thinking of.
Yeah, I could see that as well. But I mean, the timeline certainly adds up, and based on what I was hearing from people, it would back it up as well. But it is interesting how, the way she's speaking is, I'm not against him, I'm against TKO essentially, right? And obviously her time at WWE didn't end well. So I think it would have been interesting if she went back. This makes a lot more sense. Her being, affiliated with Netflix, her kind of marching to the beat of her own drum at this point. Gina was never a UFC fighter. So I think it makes a hell of a lot more sense as far as the narrative is concerned. And so here we go. We've got a little over 2 months to go before the fight. We're going to talk more about things that were said at the press conference, the ripple effect, and obviously some other news and notes regarding John Jones, Conor McGregor, Ilya, Islam, et cetera, et cetera. But it is a massive, massive honor to welcome back to the program and to speak to, for the first time in a little over a year. The last time I spoke to this man was inside the ring in front of around 100 or so million people live on Netflix at AT&T Stadium. That was back in November of 2024. And as you know, I'm a huge admirer of everything that he's done in his pro boxing career. And he is here to talk about some very exciting things that he's doing at this stage of his career and life. He is the inimitable, the often imitated, but never duplicated, the baddest man on the planet, the one and only Iron Mike Tyson. There he is. Hello, Mike. How are you?
I'm good, Ariel.
It's great to see you. It's great to see you again.
It's great being here, man.
Well,
I'm glad to be here. I wanted to tell you guys about my new tournament. It's the Mike Tyson Invitational, and it's going to be very exciting. It's going to be next week, and it's going to be in the Sahara Hotel. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine. Yes, I'd love to hear. I think it actually kicks off March 12th, tomorrow, right, in Las Vegas?
Yeah.
So what is it? What is the Mike Tyson Invitational, Mike?
Well, it's a tournament that it gives invitation to all the best fighters in the country, and then I haven't developed a team yet, but we're gonna develop a team, and then we'll fight other fighters. We'll fight guys in Cuba. We'll fight their teams. We'll fight guys in Panama. Roberto Duran has the team, so we'll fight them. We'll fight other guys all over the world. We'll fight anybody once I develop a team, and so that'll help the amateur boxers get the experience, travel around the world, and prepare to be professional. Because amateur boxing is getting ready to be kicked out of the Olympics, so we have to do something about that.
What inspired you to do this? Was it hearing the state of boxing in the Olympics? Did you feel like you needed to help rejuvenate it?
I just one day, one day Richard Steele told me, he asked me, come to my gym and see the kids. So I came down there and I saw the enthusiasm in the kids. And I said, wow, I want to be involved with something in amateur boxing, not professional. And I thought this would be a good opportunity. So I got a team together and we kicked butt and we're ready to go.
Yeah, so tomorrow, March 12th, you'll have the opening night and an exclusive conversation with you and your old friend Jim Gray over at the Sahara. Then there's a workout and media day on Friday, and then the fights on Saturday night. And I understand, Mike, there's a fun one involved in this card. The younger brother of Devin Haney going up against the younger brother of Ryan Garcia, Jacob Herrera,
Ryan cousin. First cousin, I believe.
And Devin Haney's brother, Sean. So a little rematch.
It'll be very exciting. They fought before, and it was very exciting. So I wanted to see that match again.
I love it. And so, how many fighters in total? Do you have any idea that will be competing on this?
25. I think it might be 25 or 20, something to that effect.
Okay, this is amazing. Can I? By the way, I noticed your hand is in a cast. What happened?
Excuse me. Training, punching stuff.
Okay. So what is it? Is it a broken hand? You're going too hard?
this little sprain. I got to go hard. That's the only way I know how to go.
I know. We've seen you do it. We do know that you were in talks to fight Floyd on April 25th. Can you give us a status update on that?
Hey, listen, that's something I signed for already. It's already going down. It's going to be going down in Africa.
Is it still happening on April 25th?
I believe so.
Okay. So this small injury is not going to preclude it from happening.
Well, we'll see.
Okay. What weight will it be at?
It's just free fighting, catch weight, everything.
Okay. How many rounds?
8, I believe.
Does this interest you, like in the kind of way that the Jake Paul fight interested you, like to fight a guy like Floyd, obviously with a?
It's going to be pretty interesting. I'm looking forward to it. Yes.
Yes, and especially in a setting like that, right? I think you were over there and got to meet the people.
Yeah, I was over there, and it's going to be in the same ring that Muhammad Ali and George Foreman was in.
The exact same? They kept it?
Yeah. Yes.
Holy smokes! From like 1974, right?
Yes.
So it's the Rumble in the Jungle Part 2.
Yeah.
Amazing. So as of right now,
Mike Tyson invitation is really what's going down right now. That's really what's happening tomorrow, and that's what we're going to do. Yeah.
Okay. Totally understand. Now, is this going to be a yearly thing? The MTI?
Well, listen, I would like for it to be. I used to fight every week. From Casket, we go to the Bronx. We fight every week. I like it to be as often as possible. 1 year is just too long.
Yeah. But every week might be a little bit too much, right?
Maybe every month or something.
Okay, every month. I love that. You don't think that's too ambitious? You guys are ready for that?
Yeah, well, we'll get there. We will get there. You're right. We will get there.
Okay. And just curious, what is your take on, there's a lot going on in the world of amateur boxing right now. I saw USA Boxing come out recently and say they weren't in support of the amendment to the Ali Act. I know you have come out in your support of it, right? You put out a statement. And so...
Listen, well, this is how I feel. I feel people need to choose who they need to be, who they want to be with. We shouldn't tell people who to go with. We should allow them to choose who to go with.
Yep. And do you feel like that's the possibilities that are in front of the fighters right now, or do you think that there should be more options?
Well, no, I think, if more options come, it's up to them to judge.
Okay. How do you feel about the state of the sport right now? Do you feel like it's in a healthy spot?
Amateur boxing?
Yes.
It's horrible. It's getting ready to get cut out the Olympics. How bad can that be?
Yeah. Well, the Olympics are weird, right? They get rid of sports here and there, but I feel like it will be safe.
You get rid of boxing. Boxing was one of the main things in the Olympics. Now you're going to get rid of that. That's because of the lack of interest, because they don't have the tournaments like they used to. They used to have boxing clubs all over the country. Like 5 or 10 in New York, 3 in Ohio. They'd be all over the place.
Yeah. And what about the pro ranks? Do you feel like it's in a good spot?
Hey, listen, I don't think too much about the pro. I'm not there. I want these amateur kids. That's where my passion is right there.
Do you think that this will eventually lead for you to do more promoting of pro, or do you just want to focus on the amateur?
I don't want to get involved with professional boxing, at least not this stage in my life. I just want to do something for the kids. That's where I'm at right now. I want them to have a place where they can always go and have fights. They can prepare themselves. Now we're going to the MTIs, and we're going to get our we have a Richard Steele Award, too.
Okay. What's that?
Huh?
What is the Richard Steele Award?
The Will of Steel Award.
Oh, okay. And of course, he's a legendary figure in the world of boxing. And for you, Mike, would you like to take this to other places outside of Las Vegas?
Oh yeah, we're going to be in. We're going to be at the Sahara Hotel in Nevada. Then we're going to do the Sahara Hotel in Reno. Then we're going to do all over the country. We're going to fight. We have a lot of sponsors. We have a lot of hotels that's willing to participate with us.
And I could tell people that it's going to air on DAZN beginning at 9 p.m. Eastern on Saturday, the fights, and also on your social media channels, Swerve TV, Swerve.tv, and the CSI Fight Sports stream as well. So a lot of places where you can...
that's a lot for me. I just know they're going to be there.
I'm helping you out. You know, I'm getting...
Yeah, I appreciate that so much.
By the way, I love what you're doing on YouTube. I loved seeing you hang out with Conor McGregor. Can I ask, what was that like for you?
Oh, we had a ball. It was just good. He's a good person. I liked him a lot. We had a great time.
This is a classic clip right here, Mike. You know this clip? A lot of people were wondering what you were thinking as he was showing you his moves.
I was just enjoying the moment, man. I was smoking.
He's a great character, right?
Oh, the best.
Did you go to his restaurant?
Yes, that was wonderful as well.
Okay, yeah. Did you have the steak on the stone? They're famous for that. The steak on the stone, they cook it on there?
I don't do too much meat.
Oh, okay. Are you fully vegan now, Mike?
No, but I just don't do too much of it.
Okay. By the way, before I know you're short on time, this is my first time speaking to you since the Jake fight. Can I just ask you a couple questions about that?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm dying to ask you just a couple of things. At the weigh-ins, when he stepped on your foot, when I looked at you, I felt like that was like 1986 Mike again. Like it was a different.
I don't know. I shouldn't have did it, but I thought he did that on purpose.
And is it true that you don't like when people step on your foot?
Well, I have bad feet, so my feet, that's my weak spot.
Okay, I thought if I'm in
the ring and somebody stomp on my feet, it's over. I'm tapping out.
Oh gosh, and he did that, and so you got upset.
Oh, I don't like my feet are sore. I don't like people fucking with my feet.
I got you. And then what about the one that everyone keeps asking me about still was the biting of the gloves, and your answer was amazing when I asked you about it. But we had never quite seen you do that. Can you explain further why you were doing that in the fight?
I don't understand why I did that either. It just happened.
Okay. Do you have regrets about the fight?
No way. I can't believe I did it.
You're proud of it.
Yeah, but I just listen. This is what fighters should be thinking right now about me. How could this guy be 60 years old and break all the records? They should be disappointed with themselves. How could this old cat come in here and break all the records?
You're 100% right. Over 100 million people were watching that. Speaks to your superstardom, but you're saying there should be more like you doing that, right?
Absolutely. Listen, they fight once or twice a year. These guys, no one knows who they are. They need to have a story behind them. To have clientele watch them and people look up to them and follow them.
Do you think part of the problem is they're getting paid too much, so that's why they're only fighting once a year? They don't have.
No, I don't know. It's not that they're getting paid too much. It's just that they don't want to do it. Why would you listen? If you like getting paid, you got a lot of money. Why don't you do that 3 times a year instead of 1?
Right.
If you're getting paid good for that one, why don't we do it 3 times this year? We're gonna get more money anyway. It's a no-lose situation. It's all up. It's all a win. Everything's a win. You're fighting. You're getting in shape. You're getting paid more money than you ever did before.
Were you surprised it did those numbers that many people were into it?
Yeah, kind of, but I'm the kind of guy. Everybody tells me not to be this way. I'm competitive. I want to compete against people. I want to know who's the biggest draw in the history of the world. I want to see if anybody bigger than me. And if they are, I'll tip my hat to them. But that's the kind of guy I am. I want to see who's better than me, who's bigger.
Given those numbers and your age, would you feel comfortable saying you are the biggest draw?
Hey, listen, this is what I have to say. My talent speaks for itself.
The Floyd fight, if it happens, will that be your last one, or given your competitive nature, there might be more?
Well, I think it's gonna be my last, but we'll see.
Okay, and the last one that I'm dying to ask you, as you know, it went a little bit viral when your son, which I thought was a great moment, interviewed you in the locker room, and then they showed you walking off, and we got the full shot there. You know what I'm talking about, right? And I was wondering if you knew that they were filming you from the behind like that.
Hey, listen, I never thought about it because fighters, most fighters, I'm normally naked there, so they got me at a good time with my cup on. But I don't know. I think all fighters do that. They just never got the pictures taken in the dressing room. I think all fighters wear their cup before they put their shorts on.
Were you bothered that they caught that?
No, not at all.
I thought you looked great.
I thought I looked great too.
Yes, and it was such a nice moment to have your son interview in the locker room, right?
Yeah, he's a good kid.
Yeah, I love it. Well, Mike, this is great. Like I said, I know we're short on time, but I want to congratulate you and your team on launching this, the Mike Tyson Invitational, which kicks off tomorrow in Las Vegas.
So excited. Can't wait to get
Yeah, man. And it's great for you. It's great to see you giving, back to the youngsters, to the amateurs, wanting nothing to do with the pros, really giving them that roadmap, if you will. And so Thursday there'll be a conversation with you and Jim Gray, a workout and media day on Friday, and then the fights, which you can watch on DAZN, among other places, on Saturday. Good luck to you and the team. Congratulations, and so great to talk to you again, Mike.
Thank you very much. God bless.
God bless. There he is, the one and only Iron Mike Tyson, joining us live here on the program. What a week! What a day! What a personality! What a legend! And we answered some of the lingering questions from November of 2024. That was lovely.
It's just so crazy seeing Mike Tyson. Like you asked him if he's the biggest draw. The answer is unequivocally yes, right? Like the Netflix.
What was his answer? What was his answer? His answer was great.
His
answer?
His work speaks for itself, basically.
Yeah.
Like the my boxing it speaks for itself. But like the Netflix numbers, look, Jake Paul is definitely a part of that, right? No doubt. Jake Paul's fights do massive numbers, but only Mike Tyson can really do what they did that night. Right? Like he has that presence, he has that aura, he has that nostalgia for a lot of the people, our age and older who grew up watching Mike Tyson. And then for the young generation, they know him as the Uncle Mike character, the one who's got the podcast. And he's just one of these fixtures of American culture that it's impossible to not recognize instantaneously. You're walking down the street with anybody, Mike Tyson's gonna be the first person that they go up to. It doesn't matter who you're next to.
I mean, look at that shot of him in Africa, of the people, going crazy. And this guy was active 25 years ago, as far as active big fights, fought Lennox Lewis in 2001. It's unbelievable. It's amazing. I'm not sure about this Floyd fight because it seemed like it was up in the air, but he seems somewhat still in. Look at this. Look at these shots right here. This is nuts. So the Mike Tyson Invitational, shout out. The clip of him watching Conor is tremendous.
Yeah.
That one clip is iconic. Petesy, good to see you.
What's the story, boy? How's it going?
What's the crack? Just out here in LA. Might go see our good friend John Beer later in town over there. So we might go.
The most interesting human being in the world.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's good fun. It's good crack. What do you we heard from the boys. We haven't heard from you. What was your biggest takeaway from yesterday's press conference?
My biggest takeaway is just how clearly the fighters and the promotion itself has pitted themselves against the UFC. And I'm so excited about it. I'm so excited about everything that's happened in combat sports. The Eddie stuff with Dana and MVP now, Netflix. It really feels like combat sports has become a battlefield, and I'm here for it. Like it is. The stuff that's happening outside is so much more interesting than the fights that are happening at the moment. And the impact a successful, and I know you said this at the top of the show, but the impact a successful Netflix reoccurring promotion, which I know they have not signed up for just yet, but the impact that could have on the UFC and maybe some people not enjoying what they're putting out at the moment, maybe incentivizing them to put together stronger cards while Netflix put on their own thing. It's all very, very exciting for me. And congratulations. I thought you did a great job at the presser.
Thank you. I appreciate that. People are frustrated about the lack of big fights being made. Do you know what fixes that like this? It's competition.
Yeah.
It's exactly what we saw from WWE when AEW emerged. The WWE product became so much better. When other promoters come in the world of boxing, you see promoters trying to make the big fights. If there is no competition, there's no urgency to make the big fights. And so if someone starts to a little bit nip at the heels, just a little bit, if there's someone out there, I think there'll be a greater urgency to make the big fights. Jake Paul was asked about the John Jones situation. Francis, I thought, was brilliant about the John Jones situation. essentially saying like, this is what I've been talking about. Now welcome to the party, so to speak. Here's what Jake had to say about a potential, and we'll talk a little bit more about it, deal with John Jones.
John Jones did leave UFC. Would you sign him to an MVP card for an MMA fight?
Yeah, 100%. John, you're always welcome to come over to MVP. We'll get it popping, and we'll get you paid what you deserve.
So here's the thing. John Jones put that out on social media, and I'm sure his team is going to express that to the UFC that, hey, you don't want me to fight? Let me be free. The UFC is not going to release John Jones. They would, especially now, right? Especially now. I would be shocked if they released John Jones. I would be shocked. The question is, does John want to fight on a card outside of the UFC? Excuse me. Does John want to fight on a card outside of the White House? And if they say, all right, sorry, we'll let you fight. Is he interested? Is he interested in fighting the winner of Ciryl Gane versus Alex Pereira or Tom Aspinall or anything like that? And if not, then what is the release all about? What does the release really mean? Because if they did release him, I can assure you, MVP, Netflix, everyone involved would say, here's Francis, and that would do gigantic numbers. And so that's part of the reason why I think that they won't release him, because they're not just going to let him cross the street and go fight for them. But I'm also wondering, he retired in 2025, saying he was done. Then the White House gets announced, says, I want to fight on the White House card. But just the White House card, it seemed. If he's not on the White House card, what does he want to be released for? Do you know what I mean? So that to me is a little bit unclear, but I'll just be 100% honest. I don't foresee them releasing him. They have no incentive to release him. And this is the unfortunate thing about these contracts. I'm not saying it's unfortunate because they're tied to the UFC. I'm saying it's unfortunate because if you have 3, 4, 5 fights left, you'll never be free. You'll have to wait a very long time to be free. And so by the time John is free, because he recently signed a new deal not that long ago, and he's only fought I think he signed one before Ciryl Gane, so that's only been one fight since, Stipe. By the time he's ready, by the time it's free and clear, he's going to be well past his prime. He's going to be in his mid-40s. So I don't see it's fun to talk about, and I'm sure Francis is sitting back kind of smirking, being like, y'all said that I was the bad guy for wanting to test this and leave, and now all of you want to leave. This is what I was talking about. This is what I was preaching. But I don't see John leaving anytime soon.
Can I ask you something that I feel like we don't really have clarity to, right? Francis Ngannou had a sunset clause. Francis Ngannou had a period of time where no matter if he fought, didn't fight, whatever, he would be able to leave that deal, right? There was a date on it. Does that not exist for other fighters? Is that a thing that doesn't exist? And if so...
It does.
Okay.
No, but it does. But here's the thing. Francis fought all his fights. So Francis fought out the contract. He didn't have 4 or 5 fights left. Like George St. Pierre's sunset clause just happened like in the last year, but his last fight was in 2017. Do you know what I mean? So John's contract and Francis's contract, not the same. Francis had to fight his fights. He gets to January of 22. Then there's a whole year before they could they can exclusively negotiate. He's a champion. There's a champions clause, this and that. And then you'll recall that press conference in January of 23 when Dana White came out and said, like, we're releasing Francis. No, you weren't. It was coming to an end. That window, that period was coming to an end, and they wanted to save face. Yeah. So there's 2 separate things. Yes, there are sunset clauses, but they're like 5 years down the road. Francis had finished his fights. Some of these other guys have not. So even Conor, he has not. He still has 2 fights, and whatever. And every contract is different. There's no uniformity in these contracts. So someone's sunset could be 5, 4, 3. Like there's no rhyme or reason. And oh, by the way, they could do this thing where it's like, oh yeah, John, we did offer you a fight against Tom, and you turned it down. So now we're going to extend your contract and all that other nonsense. Like it's almost damn near impossible unless they say, like I think they did it to Anthony Pettis and some others. Like unless they say like, okay, we're good, we're going to release you, you're done. I just don't see them doing that for John Jones.
For sure. And here's my second question. Do we think that these would hold up in court if challenged for independent contractors? If somebody, not saying this will be John Jones, but if somebody were to say, can you legally do this to an independent contractor, right? Can you prevent me if we feel like the terms are not being met from going elsewhere? That's the part that I have a hard time wrapping my head around. Now, I imagine that by the time you get through all the legal battle and figure everything out, you wasted all that time anyway. And maybe that's the bet that they're hedging with. But it does feel very odd that legally a contractor can be held into a deal where it never is over, that they just have you forever. No?
I think that the one potential is the fact that the landscape has changed.
That there are other options out there that you
No. The pay-per-view. So I think
right. Okay.
Excuse me. Connor has alluded to this. McGregor. He has said like the deal has changed. Right. There's no such thing as pay-per-view. So this is null and void. You remember when he said that?
Yes.
So I think someone can try to challenge in that regard,
right,
and say like what I signed up for is no longer in place. We now have to come to a new agreement.
Yep.
That's I think the most logical route. But even
Makes
that
sense.
is not a guarantee.
And even then you're getting into a potential legal battle that again takes time, and now you might as well have fought it out potentially. But
Yes.
it does just feel, every time we talk about these scenarios, it almost feels like prison. It almost feels like you're not able to escape. Like John Jones, to the point he made in the tweet, right, in response to Dana White, if you have no use for me and you say I'm damaged goods, my hip is no good, I've got arthritis, I'm not capable of fighting, you don't want to work with me, why am I here? What am I doing here? Is a very valid question to ask in light of how Dana White has presented it. And so it just feels crazy to me that as a contractor, right, not an employee, where it's like, okay, if he's an employee, I get that. But as a contractor, where it's like, that doesn't hold up. That doesn't make sense. Let me go,
100%. 100%. I don't think they're going to let him go. I don't think they want to let him go, especially not now. Yeah. But golly, I mean, like if we could just daydream, John Jones versus Francis Ngannou on Netflix would be insane, as would Conor McGregor versus Nate Diaz. Like there's now that we've seen that Netflix is interested in big MMA events, clearly, not just big. I think they're just into big events, period. Look, they're doing opening day, and they're doing the home run derby, and they're doing NFL Christmas games and all that stuff. Like now there's that play. Before there wasn't that place. Like it was funny hearing Ronda say like, oh yeah, we could have gone to Triller or Fight TV. I'm like, what? Like the UFC would have laughed at those. They would have laughed at those. This is Netflix, which by the way is also in partnership with WWE, which is a part of TKO. And so someone was asking me this earlier in the week, like, you think they're going to move that Newark card? That's May 9th. The Newark pay-per-view, what is it, 328? Yeah? Or whatever. The numbered event is May 9th. And it's looking like it could be Khamzat versus Sean based on tweets and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's a big fight. I think people will be interested in it. Would they move it to May 16th to counter them? That's what the old UFC would do.
Interesting.
Now, I don't know if the Prudential Center is available, all that, but that's what the old UFC would have done. They would have loaded it up. Look at what they did back in the day to Affliction at their first event. Does this regime want to piss off Netflix? Netflix is so powerful. They're the one guys that they all want to be in business with.
And are in business with, as you said, right? Through their TKO and WWE relationship.
Exactly. And they want more with boxing and all that stuff. So I don't think they will. I don't think they will. It's the only time that they've had so much respect for the other. Like they hold more power. They hold the most power in all of media, dare I say, right now. Everyone wants to be in business with them, sport or not. So I don't think they would do that. I think it would be a really curious move if they did try to piss them off.
The one unspoken part of what you said, right? You said, how great would it be if John Jones versus Francis Ngannou was on Netflix? It'd be great. The unspoken part is, it'd be great if Francis Ngannou or John Jones happened in the UFC too. The problem is that the UFC doesn't do that business, right? They would never let somebody else come in, and they would not pay at this point in their life cycle for that fight, which is an unfortunate reality. But like, these things can happen. That's the part that I think gets lost in all this, right? We talk about like, these things will never happen. They can't happen. They actually can happen. They just won't happen under the current structure where the UFC has dug their heels in. They'll never co-promote. They won't pay for big fights, right? They don't want to pay John Jones to do it. But in a world where people were willing to pay for the fights that we wanted to see, all these things are possible. Francis Ngannou could be fighting John Jones tomorrow if they made the money right and did it differently. it's just unfortunate that like this is the scenario we're in,
Well,
and why competition is so important, like you said.
100%. This changes everything. The one that you really need to circle, to me, is Conor versus Nate. If they don't make Conor versus Nate, Conor has 2 fights left. Nate is a free man as of right now. Like, Conor versus Nate on Netflix would be, I think, is this a crazy statement? I think that's the closest that we could get to Tyson Paul. I don't know if it eclipses Tyson Paul, but of all the options out there, I think it's the closest. Am I wrong?
No,
Yeah, I think so. It's Conor versus anybody, and Nate is the best option, right? So I think so,
Right.
yeah. Although Conor versus Jake?
Conor versus Jake would be pretty damn big too. I mean, yeah, the world is our oyster. I can tell you guys
Let's do that after Nate if we can.
Yeah,
You know,
I agree.
let's-
Yeah.
Are we doing that in boxing or are we doing it in MMA?
Who gives a fuck at that stage? Let's get Nate and Connor in the ring. Okay?
Yeah.
Cage.
I know they had the meeting on Monday. And by the way, I've said this many times about Conor McGregor. I think one of Conor's greatest skills, if you will, was his timing. I think that the reason why he got the Floyd Mayweather fight in 2017 was because it was on the heels of the sale and they wanted to recoup some of that money. I think the old regime would have never allowed him to do that. Getting the MSG fight when he did, all that stuff. Like, I think he's had impeccable timing, especially in the heyday of his career. And I think he has impeccable timing right now because I think that they have seen the backlash of the White House card and the John Jones stuff and all of this. And who's sitting right there? Conor McGregor. Waiting, ready to go for July 11th International Fight Week. And so I think that they are a little bit more motivated to deliver this. And so I know that they met. I've reached out to ask how it went. I have not heard back. But this is the assumption that I'm going to make. The assumption that I'm going to make is I know when some of these things go haywire or awry, he goes on social media, he tweets a bunch of stuff, he gets upset, he deletes, he airs his grievances. I have not seen any of that since Monday. And I was looking for that because I knew when the meeting was, and I was looking for something. I'm not going to be played around. I want my release. I want this, that. He has not jumped on this train. Have you noticed? He has not jumped on this train at all. And so that at least leads me to believe that it was positive and that they are moving in that direction. I think the UFC wants him back. I think they want him to fight in July. I think he wants to fight in July. I think everyone is on board with that. It's, can they make the deal? Can they actually get this done? And then, of course, it's who the opponent is. Obviously, Nate is out there. They have to sign him. I think that the Max Holloway fight is still interesting. I think that there would be more interest in the Holloway fight than the Oliveira fight at this point. But Oliveira has a belt. Does Conor want a belt? Does that matter to him? You know, we know that they reached out about Praches. I reported he said yes. They've moved on from that. He wants to fight at 170. To your point earlier, I feel like Conor versus anyone would be welcomed with open arms by the audience. And I know that there are some people who still think that he's not going to fight, but I feel like him not airing any grievances, unless I missed a tweet that was deleted, but I feel like people catch those all the time, is a positive sign of how that meeting went on Monday. So let's see.
I feel the way about. No, you go, Pizzi.
I just doubt it's like a one call kind of situation.
Oh,
You know?
no, it wasn't one. It was face to face.
Oh,
Conor was out in Vegas.
No,
meeting with him.
no.
His team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Hunter's in Dublin and he didn't give me a shout. Like, this is crazy.
Oh, Hunter was
No.
at the Blackboard Gin. Steak on the Stone.
No.
Got a steak on
Forged
the-
Irish
Honor's
Stouts.
representation was in Vegas.
Yes, he said this on the Smashcast.
Yeah. Don't you listen to the
fucking
Smashcast?
Smashcast,
Just fucking
bro.
with you, come on.
Come on.
I feel about the Conor McGregor like fight negotiation stuff the way I feel about Habib and Tony, which is like I don't want to hear about it until he's there. Like let's just skip all this. Like fast forward to the fight and I'm good. It's we've done this too. Like we keep doing this. We've done this all the time.
I'm not of the camp like I have to see him in the cage. I need to make it to a fight week and the fight still be on. To
Yeah,
believe
that's
that it's
fair.
going to happen.
Get me to fight week.
Yeah. All right.
I think it's.
I just think that for the first time, like, oh, this is it. Yeah.
Sorry, what was that? What happened?
You good? Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Did we lose him?
We lost him.
What did you say?
Did my internet crap out?
Can you hear
We
us
got you,
now?
brother. Can you hear us?
Yeah, so let's try and reconnect with Ariel, as Ariel would say.
We're efforting. Pete,
But I'm
what'd you say,
saying-
bro?
I was just saying, like, it feels like this negotiation could have massive ramifications no matter what way it goes on fighting in general. Because if the UFC get him, everyone on the roster once again knows he's been given an incentive, like massive amount of money, you'd imagine, right? If Conor is signed on the dotted line, they have given him what he wants to a certain extent, and what he wants should be around the Conor Ben mark. And sure, people would argue like he brings in more eyeballs than anyone.
Wait,
But
hold on. Should be around the Conor Ben mark.
Well, I mean, it's that's what it has been historically when they opened up all those payments and stuff. I mean, that's what he was getting.
John Jones got offered $30 million to fight Tom Aspinall. It can't be around the Conor Ben mark.
You got $30 million for a kitchen.
It's not going to be. Do you think this regime, after everything we've been saying for the last few weeks, everything that Ronda Rousey is saying, is going to be like, oh, here's 30 million, Conor, and publicly discuss that?
I do. Because otherwise you don't get Conor, and they need Conor now. Like
we're just talking about people being frozen out of contracts. They will 100% do that with Conor.
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of my faith is in the fact that Ariel Helwani just said they're motivated. They heard the talks and they're motivated to get this done. You're not getting it done for Conor Ben money. I don't think there's a world where you can get Conor McGregor for Conor Ben money at this point. With no pay-per-view, how do you justify it? That's what, Ariel was alluding to earlier when he said that tweet that Conor sent out, my contract's null and void. How could his contract be the same when there's no pay-per-view anymore? All his upside was on pay-per-view because he was such a massive draw. If they offered him $15 million, I wouldn't be surprised if he laughed in their face. Like, also, it can't.
I know it's a super fight and it's a big deal doing it at the White House. But they're saying they're paying $60 million for this. They're not going to be able to sell tickets. There's no pay-per-view or anything like that.
Yeah.
If they do International Fight Week at T-Mobile in Las Vegas, that's essentially a home game for them at that point. You're going to sell it out. You're going to set the gate record, everything like that. You're going to be able to do massive ad sales surrounding Conor McGregor. You'll be able to make that money back. I'm not saying $60 million, but I can't imagine it's going to be Conor Ben's price tag.
Well, that's the dirty little secret about all the UFC stuff, which is they could afford to pay these guys $50 million each and still make a profit because of how much they generate from the sales and the broadcast rights and all this stuff. But they would never, obviously. And they're, as Ronda Rousey has continued to say and makes a lot of sense, the bottom line, the business is their motivation. But yeah, I don't know. I think they have to come with a number that's very, very correct. And 15 million feels pretty low.
I just hope it happens. I hope something, we need a sign here at this stage that they are interested in booking these big fights. That's certainly not the impression that we're getting lately. So I'm very interested to see how it all plays out. I definitely agree with Ariel that we're going to hear about it either way.
Yeah,
like there's no way he's walking away pissed off, and he's not telling us exactly how he feels in a matter of days.
Well, when Ariel, welcome back, Ariel. When Ariel asked that question at the top, when he was like, "How do you make the big fights?" I thought the answer was actually money, even though you said competition, because that is it. Like, the same way Turkey comes in and pays all the fighters what they need to make those big fights. If you pay Conor McGregor, if you pay John Jones, if you pay all these guys what they are asking for, the big fights will get made, with the one exception being the time that John got offered $30 million and turned it down, which still baffles me to this day. But if Conor McGregor gets paid what he's worth to the business, to that gate, and to what they will bring in for viewership, that fight could be made tomorrow, I bet. I bet Conor McGregor would be happy if they gave him what he was asking for.
Well, speaking of big fights that weren't made, let's talk a little bit about Ilya and Islam. I know you guys talked about them yesterday as well, but I wanted to weigh in real quick. Ilya is a stone cold killer on social media. He went on Twitter and posted this. By the way, John has since backed up what I said on Monday, and now Ilya backed up what I said on Monday. Once again, Islam comes up with an excuse. This time, it's an injury. I always knew I'd be a part of the White House event. He did tweet that last September. Even when the UFC told me at one point they wouldn't count on me for the event, I knew I was a part of the negotiation. When they finally told me I would be on the White House card, they mentioned Islam and didn't hesitate, or I didn't hesitate for a second to accept the fight. Even though the fight hadn't been officially confirmed yet, the White House card was going to be announced the next day. And when I woke, I found out that Islam had gotten injured. And then Justin Gaethje appeared. Once again, someone else who will pay for Islam's escape. Both their manager is a bitch and also ugly as hell. Justin, see you at the White House. I'm not someone who humiliates other people. It will be quick. When you wake up, everything will already be over. Stone cold. Islam responded on social media as well, quote unquote. We both know who chickened out here. You can cover your cowardice with nasty tweets, but don't worry, one day you will get what you asked for, and your fat-ass manager don't have to ask for billions to fight me. We'll do it for free. Malkikawa is Ilya's manager, and he did respond to that shot and said, damn, I've lost 40 pounds. Why is Ali still calling me fat? My question about this is, why would Ilya be called the chicken if he's fighting on the date and Islam isn't? I don't think Islam is the chicken, but it's just a weird thing to say about the guy who's actually still on the card, no?
Absolutely. And
The whole thing is bizarre. The whole thing.
I mean,
The
it's just
manager's
weird.
catching strays, ugly, fat as hell.
Yeah, it's a weird one.
I know I'm like beating a dead horse here and harping on. These all feel like they are firing shots at each other. You're a chicken. And in reality, these fights are the UFC makes the fights, right? It's the same. It was the same thing that was happening with Tom and John, where everybody in the lead up to before John was made that Godfather $30 million offer, it was like, this guy doesn't want to do it. This guy doesn't want to do it. Tom has the duck, this and that. It's always just the UFC makes the fight, right? It's not Islam making the fight. It's not Ilya making the fight. They both want to fight each other. It's very clear. There's no doubt that they want to fight each other. UFC has to make the fight. UFC has to pay for the fight. And so we're just going to go back. Like, now we're going to go back and forth, and Ilya is going to be talking about Islam duck me, and Islam's going to say Ilya's a chicken.
Does it feel like we're closer to it, though, because of their interest, or do you think that they only wanted to make it because of the White House? It seems like GC is skeptical.
I don't know. I don't know if we're any closer. It feels like we've had these discussions before. They've jabbered on Twitter. They've gone back and forth. I don't know. This is sort of like a Conor McGregor thing. I'm not going to believe it until I see the fight actually get made. There's always the chance that one of them slips on a banana peel and then the fight isn't worth what it was at one point. Right now, they're pound for pound number one versus pound for pound number two. Ilya would be going for a third title with this one being offered at 170. I'm not sure we're closer than we've ever been, and I would imagine Islam's going to have to take another fight before they would get in discussions again for this one. So,
he's going to fight someone else.
Yeah,
he's going to fight Ian. I think it should be Ian Gary. Michael Morales is out there posting his stuff, but yeah, I mean,
he loses that belt. Ilya is no longer interested.
Oh, it's over. Oh yeah, it's over.
I don't
Unless
know if
it's
we're
so
closer.
personal. Can I ask on a serious? I'm not going to say that Ilya Islam is the same as Ilya Arman, but has the gap gotten a little bit closer?
What do you mean?
Or is it still Ilya Arman?
Yeah.
I feel like is getting to be just as big as Ilya Islam. Am I crazy?
Yes.
Yeah, I think Ilya Islam still blows out of the water. He's going for the third title. Islam is such a massive superstar. I know Arman is on the rocket ship right now. He's heading straight for the moon. But I think the fact that Islam has that third belt that Ilya would be going for, and the history between the two, and just the star power of both, it's hard to recreate.
Also, just consider the upside. If Ilya Topuria wins, he's done stuff that nobody's ever done, right? Everybody to this point is kind of doing variations of what Conor McGregor did, right? If we're looking at what is the gold standard of how you've navigated this business and what you've done, there's like two examples. There's Ronda Rousey and there's Conor McGregor. And everybody's done some facsimile of Conor McGregor, right? You've won your championship, you've knocked out the best guys, you won a second belt. Ilya's done all those things, right? Alex Pereira's done those things. The third belt is that thing that nobody's done yet. That third belt is that thing that like you can now start separating yourself. And if Ilya Topuria, who's never suffered defeat and is just walking through people, all of a sudden captures a third belt, he's entering a stratosphere like we can't even like really think about. Now, the environment's not the same. He won't be Conor. Conor is an unachievable level at this point. There's just too much else going on. Attention spans are too short. But as far as the actual thing, the product inside the cage, what you've done in MMA, Ilya beating Islam would be monumental. Whereas like Arman, I think it's a very tough fight, but I don't think it gets there.
Ilya Topuria KOs Islam for a triple chip.
It's nuts.
We're talking the GOAT talks will be very loud.
Yeah.
And by the way, we were on the verge of seeing two triple champions on the same night.
That could have been nuts.
Oh, one's
the interim. Yeah,
I know, but still, like we've never had
right.
anyone even come close to this, and we were close to having it happen, or at least be a possibility on the same night.
Well, Dana White said never. You know, there was no talks of Islam versus Ilya. It never happened. So you know.
Yeah.
Can I ask a question about the White House card? What do you think happens if either Ilya or Alex can't fight? for some reason. Someone touch wood, doesn't happen. Don't want that to happen. But what happens if one of those lads falls off the card, given that it's so reliant on their star power, as far as I'm concerned?
Yeah, I mean, disaster. I'd like to think this would be a great question for them, but if you just look at the lineup, there's no proper backup, right? So I'd like to think that they have something, but like who?
Oh, John.
Could you imagine?
John Cyril too.
It's time. You're back.
I just don't think they want to set.
Gone.
They don't want to set that press. Man, I don't know the answer to that. Obviously, they will have had to think of it beforehand. I would like to think that they are, but yeah, that would be a complete disaster. I still think that the biggest draw is going to be the White House. People are going to tune in to see a fight at the White House. No one on that card is like a true household name. They're massive stars, Alex and Ilya in particular, but a million people have asked me about it. Is this really? They don't know anything about MMA. They know nothing about fighting, but they know what the White House is. They know how insane it is that a UFC fight is going to happen at the White House. So that is still the biggest draw no matter what. If Conor was on there, okay, he could have rivaled it in terms of like, oh wow, interest, Conor McGregor is fighting again. But still, I think the setting, the location is the draw. And I think that's ultimately why they felt like they didn't have to break the bank for any of these guys. And you know, they realized that, and it would behoove them to break the bank for International Fight Week because there's so much revenue attached to that. As they've said a million times, there's no revenue that's going to be attached to this. At least that's what they say. Speaking of Armin, by the way, I did want to ask, or I wanted to bring up that he is competing today at the Hype FC event, this submission grappling event, and there was a huge brawl at the presser yesterday. Speaking of Carlos Prates too, did you guys see this? This was insane. I don't know who... Look at this, look at this.
Carlos loving it.
Yo, water bottle. Oh, Prates.
Carlos is loving it.
Look at this dude right here. Look at this dude right here. What the hell?
Armin's like, I'm out of here.
Armin's like, get me out of here. This is too much.
You are fucking lost!
Don Silva, terrible.
That's
great.
The stars are out there, man.
I don't know who's the money behind this promotion, but those are a lot of big names right there.
A lot of big UFC names.
It's wild to see all these guys. Like, there was a time where the UFC would never allow this, to see these guys on RAF, to see these guys on Hype. I think it's a byproduct of the class action lawsuit, if I'm being 100% honest, but it's kind of fun. I don't know if they like, I mean, Dana kind of no-sold it, but I don't know if they'd like to see all these guys get into brawls all the time at these things. They might have to tell them to chill out, but that's actually happening tonight. I think you can watch it on a bunch of different streams. It's happening. What is it? I got an email about this. Does anyone know? Hype FC. If you're into this, there was Bryce Mitchell sitting right next to.
Yeah, the rematch with Jean Silva.
Bash TV. It's live on pay-per-view beginning at 4 p.m. Pacific, so not too far away from now. Muhammad Mokaev versus Armin Tsarukyan.
Yeah.
Crazy. Who would have thought?
Okay, I just had a thought.
Yes.
What if John Jones asked to do something like this right now? What if John was just like, all right, you don't want to use me? I'm going to go wrestle Daniel Cormier. Would they let him?
I mean, they let him do the reality show.
Would they let him wrestle? Would they let him do Raf? Raf, you know, everybody was like, John versus Daniel Raf. Would they let him?
I think maybe in this new climate of class action lawsuits.
This is where it gets interesting for me. This is where it gets real interesting for me because I wonder, you know, how far does that leash extend? That
and also, does it extend to the superstars?
Exactly.
Right?
John Jones' name means a lot, and if he's not like, here's the assumption that they're making with a lot of these guys, right? Armin Tsarukyan is going to do this, but at the end of the day, he will fight for us, right? He's coming back, and he's going to be our guy, and we're going to make money from Armin Tsarukyan. Jean Silva, he's doing this thing, but we're going to get back, and he's going to be in our cage. Carlos Prates, and on and on and on. But if John Jones ain't coming back, are they just like, yeah, go do Raf, whatever you want. Okay, all good. Make money for somebody else. That's where I think we start testing the limits of
what do you think?
Stuff. I don't think they would let him.
Yeah.
And again, this is where I'm like, can you legally get away with this? Is that okay? Like, is that actually possible that you can hold somebody with this type of deal?
I think that there are certain guys who don't get, but man, I thought they'd stop Armin from doing all of this too. You know,
John would be great. John would be a great test. John versus Daniel Cormier for RAF.
yeah.
Big
What
money
about dirty
up.
boxing? Probably not.
No.
Striking.
Nah, because that's too. Yeah, that's striking. That's too close to MMA. I would
Didn't DC come out and be like, he'll only do wrestling at this point of his life?
Yeah.
I saw a picture of Armin. He's down in Brazil. Looks like he's enjoying it. Went to a Fogo de Chao.
Sure. Oh hell yeah! I'm sure he's loving it. By the way, speaking of guys moving up, like Muhammad Makayev is, Renier de Ritter has announced that he is moving up to 205. What a difference a year makes, right? Yeah. RDR beats Bo Nickel less than a year ago. Seems like he's on the fast track, and then loses 2 straight, and now he's moving up to 205. He posted a video announcing this to his team. It's crazy,
I want
right?
to say thank you guys for all the help. I came up a little short. I think could have gone either way, but I'm happy that I got my body back, most importantly. I was able to go 3 hard rounds, and I think I have a lot more to show. I brought you guys donuts because I need you guys heavy. I need you guys strong because I'm coming at 205, baby. Hey! Let's go. All right, hard work on 3. 1, 2, 3. Hard work. Let's go, baby. Let's go eat some donuts for me. Come on.
Now he was a double champion in one championship, but I mean, it seemed like he was like knocking on the door of the middleweight division title picture, and now here he is moving up, and now here's Mr. Bo Nickel on the White House, back on track. When you guys hear RDR, do you think of Red Dead Redemption or do you think of Renier de Ritter?
That's funny. There was a time.
If you drop the 2 on it, so if he ever does a rematch and it's blank versus RDR 2, then I'll think Red Dead Redemption 2 because I haven't played the first one. I've only played the second one. Arthur Morgan.
Guessing Frank is thinking of the video game.
I haven't played either of them.
Oh.
Yeah, I was thinking of that.
Wow, you haven't played either? Have you played GTA?
The first 3.
Wow.
Is it?
05.
Isn't it crazy that we're getting Gina Carano versus Ronda Rousey before GTA 6?
Yeah, I had the exact
6,
same
7,
reaction.
skibbity.
I had the exact same. Yeah, what was that on Monday when you were like, yeah, I think it's a little bit cringe, and then Frank was like, oh, is it? And you're like, yeah, you're fucking weird if you say 6, 7 anymore.
You went in hard on the 6, 7.
Did the kids put the foot down? They were like, it's over. It's
Me?
dead, Dad.
Yes,
I went hard,
really hard on 6, 7.
To the point where me and Rick looked at each other and was like, wow, I guess 6, 7's really dead.
Aggro?
It's always...
No, man. The kid. I gotta be honest. The kids they're coming for my neck. Like yesterday, I was texting with my boys, and I said I'm just going to meet people for dinner, and I wrote PPL.
Oh no.
And then my son Oliver wrote back. He goes, "Look at Unc out here trying to talk like kids, writing PPL." I was like, PPL.
They think they invented like text language.
Shorthand.
They invented it.
I was like,
T9, bro. Do you know anything about T9? Come on.
what is T9?
Oh wow.
That's when you used to have to type out the letters on the keypad with the numbers. You have to press 1 3 times to get the letter to, and on and on.
Nah. PPL is not a kid thing.
No.
Oh, hell no, bro. No. That's actually, I would have thought they were going to be like ripping on you for like, the Unc still uses PPL because it's so outdated.
Yeah.
No, he's trying to claim like they started the shorthand. I'm like, yo. Know your role, all right? Know your role. It doesn't feel great.
No,
it's like I'm constantly being told that I'm too old.
Your kids
by the way, from Max Holloway to my kids, everyone's just talking about you're 43, bro. Like, yo, chill. I feel young and spry.
44 in a few months, man.
Yeah,
don't remind them.
Oh, Jesus.
Way to go.
What are you in a few months? 31, 32?
No, 33, bro.
33, Pete, around the same time. What are you?
26, yeah.
Fuck out of here, 26.
Pete, how old are you for real, man?
Yeah.
I'm 39 this year.
Get out. Wow. We're going to have a lot of 40 parties.
When I joined this team, I just turned 28.
Yeah, that's how time goes,
I know, but it's fucking bending my brain here.
That's how time works.
It's a wild thing. By the way, what about Kyle Dawkins? Kyle Dawkins is the front runner, in my opinion, for Social Media User of the Year, Kaposo Award. Look at this guy.
Careful. We
But
don't
everyone
hand that
is
out all
hating on
willy-nilly.
But you're just a chill guy that gets to fight at the White House.
He is a chill guy, in fairness.
In fairness, he is a chill guy.
I feel like he's he's become the poster boy for the dissatisfaction of this card. Even Kyle Dawkins is on this card. It's like,
Oh yeah,
geez, man.
yeah. Kyle Dawkins and Steve Garcia were just the direct targets when this thing got announced. Oh great!
like
Can't
the
wait for the
Garcia
White
Lopez
House
fight.
card. Oh yeah, it's a great fight.
It's a good fight.
Banger.
I also think he's handling it perfectly, which is like, I get that you guys are mad, but I'm just going to do my thing and be on the White House card and try to win.
Yeah. I mean, what else is he supposed to do?
Yeah,
Got
like
a
he's
great
supposed to crawl in a hole?
Could you imagine? If he was fighting Bo Nickel at the Apex, it's a massive fight for him.
Yeah.
Period. Coming back, winning the last two. Now it's at the White House, American, the Battle of Pennsylvania. Isn't Pennsylvania a swing state?
Yeah, it is. The Battle of
point.
Pennsylvania.
By the way, we know where Bo, how he leans. Imagine if Kyle leans the other way and it's like a true swing state battle.
I don't think Kyle's making that known right before he fights at the White House. Let me just say. I don't know if Kyle's
Does he have a blue
Here to
sky
get
account?
revenge for Biden.
Yeah,
I don't think that goes so hot for him.
It's still the most random political shout out in UFC history is still Kevin Lee shouting out Bernie Sanders at MSG.
What about
Remember that?
Jacob Volkman saying he wants to fight Obama or whatever he was saying?
I mean, by the way, that was when like we were in such a different political climate that even talking about the president was weird.
Yeah.
That was very bizarre. But just like a UFC fighter shouting, I think that was the card that Trump attended, but he wasn't there yet. Maybe 244. I think it was like when he fought Gregor Gillespie.
Yeah, that was an interesting one.
And then he's like, "Yo," and I think he's since walked that back, right?
Yeah, there was.
Yeah, it was 244. Yeah, it was the night of the first BMF, and he shouted out Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, there was some additional commentary after that, made us wonder. But never forget, we had that Jacob the Volkman for President T-shirt on the set for forever.
Yeah, we landed on the Tonight Show as a result of that.
Yeah, that's
Remember?
right.
The Tonight Show did a skit where then Obama comes and smashed Volkman's head into the wall, and I'm standing there.
Crazy time.
This is done. I feel like Connor's hearing about this for the first time.
Well, what is this? Explain this more.
Jacob Volkman, who was a legendary sort of bit of a different type of cat. I asked him who he wanted to fight next. I don't know how to describe it. This is when we were doing the locker room interviews in the hallways and stuff way back. I think it was UFC 125, if my memory serves me correct. And he said he wanted to fight Barack Obama because I think he was mad about Obamacare.
Yeah, I think it was something related to that. Yeah.
You and me both, Jacob.
He said he wanted to knock him out. He wanted to fight him. And that was very random. And then he told me later that the FBI, I think, contacted him or came to his house. My memory is, it's like 15 years ago now. Anyway, the clip went super viral. A UFC fighter says he wants to knock out the president. And then I'm pretty sure it was Jay Leno. It was definitely the Leno era. He made a joke about this, and they cut to the clip. But then at the end of the clip, and this is way before AI, Obama comes and smashes his head. But it's like me standing there on the Tonight Show.
Oh,
it was
wow.
freaking wild.
Incredible.
Yeah.
In
They
the
used our
video,
clip.
yeah.
Yeah. Like it was like a fake thing.
Okay, the way you teed it up in my head, you went to the set and like was on.
Oh no! They just threw to it. Did you hear about this fighter who wants to knock out the president? That's my Jay Leno impersonation. By the way, speaking of the White House, yes.
One more thing on that. I'm looking at an article from CBS News at the time.
From back then?
The comment not only got Volkman put on leave from the school district, he was a teacher, but also caught the attention of the U.S. Secret Service. They questioned him not long after. So yeah, Secret Service questioned Jacob Volkman at that time about this. Crazy.
Yo, let me tell you. Jacob Volkman walked so Bryce Mitchell could run. He's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do, but I don't think Connor does, but I do.
He was never as outlandish, but I feel like he like set the table.
Yeah.
For
So is it Volkman? VOLK?
Yeah.
VOLK.
Yeah.
Ariel's
See?
just saying Volkman.
Volkman. I don't know is it that hard of an L?
Yeah, Volk.
Oh yeah, hard L for
Volk.
sure.
Yeah.
Alex.
What do you think would
hard L
happen if a
Volkman.
fighter said he wanted to knock out Donald Trump?
It wouldn't
Golly.
go good. It wouldn't go so well for him.
Imagine Kyle Dawkins gets on the mic. Do you think if a fighter said that they'd get cut? Would they get cut for saying that?
No, because then you can't stand on the free speech thing anymore.
Free speech,
I
bro.
know.
Free
I'm just saying, is saying that the line?
That's the line.
federal
Yeah, that's too
fucking
much.
prison.
Yeah.
So good. What about Frank? As I took off my headset on Monday, you dropped the line there, and it made me laugh. And I heard it from like as I'm getting changed to leave. What was it? What was that drop?
Too hungover to deal with these people tonight.
Oh, I love that one because the I'm comes in so hot. One more time.
Too hungover to deal with these people tonight.
I'm so
might-
hungover to deal with these people tonight.
Maybe a slight edit there. We just start with too hungover.
I kind of like that.
Oh, you do? Oh, okay.
It's like the D1 Glazer. It comes in so hot that I love it.
So
I
it's a
love
bit
how
drunk.
hot it comes in.
Yeah, I saw people in the comments calling me that yesterday. That's okay.
fuck
I
it.
could. I didn't stand up there and be like, "We're all here because Nikisa Badarian was born." And let me tell you something. This fight reminds me.
I've been waiting my whole life for this press conference.
Yeah.
None of
Oh
us
my God.
would exist had Nikita
Exist.
Badarian never been born.
Before we move on from the press conference, because I feel like we kind of like transitioned away.
Oh, sorry.
Cyborg versus Ronda Rousey feels like a fight you have to make at some point, right? Like that. If Ronda does keep fighting, we are building to
That's
that.
the
No,
win.
like that has to.
Yeah,
be in
but
the
here's
cards.
the thing. Gina said, "I'm not going to put an end."
Yeah.
Ronda essentially
Seems
said,
more,
like,
yeah.
"I want to have more kids." So if anything, now she could win and say,
If she
Great
wins-
negotiation tactic as well. I don't
Yeah.
want to fight. Make me fight.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Can the kids wait?
I think
I don't think she ever wants to fight her.
because of what
honestly,
she said about the PEDs.
Yeah, I don't think she wants to fight her. I am interested in like how deep she wants to get into this. Like she said, I want to be the face of this and help them. I'll be his Dana White or whatever.
Right.
Speaking of Nikisa, like, does she want to be not? I don't want to say like Amanda Serrano is to MVPW, but sort of that because Amanda is actively fighting. But I wonder if she wants to be that person who's. I mean, her up there yesterday, like she's still got it, as I said, like she's still throwing 100, and maybe because she hasn't done that in so long, she had a lot of ammunition and she was excited to be up there. But I wonder if she wants to be up there promoting fights, and that would be interesting, and it would be right up their alley, right, with how much they promote women's fighting. I'm so curious to see how this all plays out. Is this a one and done? Will there be more? Who else is going to be on there? Who else do they want to sign? Like, there's just, wow, such a fascinating time. It actually felt for a minute like the MMA business was getting quite stale and boring, and all the fun was happening in boxing. It's nice to have a little bit of excitement, some stuff to sink our teeth into. And obviously, we love the fights and we want to see the matchups, but they're not giving us the big fights. Let's just be 100% honest. They're not. There are great fights. I'm excited about Yuri and Ulberg. I'm excited about Joshua Van and Tyra, obviously. Excited about the return of Kevin Vachejos and Josh Emmett this weekend. But like, we want more. We want more, and a little bit of an alternative is good. What do you think of Ronda yesterday, Pete?
Thought she was great and didn't seem to miss a beat. She spoke so well. So did Gina. But Ronda was really holding court up there.
Yeah.
Thought it was really strong, like really brave. Like, just come out and talk about like that, about the UFC, knowing that she had such a great relationship with Dana too. It's a very strong stance to take. And again, it all feeds into this situation, this battlefield situation that I'm looking at. And honestly, I think Dana loves this shit. You see the way he's talking at these Zuffa boxing press conferences, as opposed to how he's speaking at the post-fight 326 thing. I think these guys, MVP coming at him, could awaken the beast on the MMA front. He's fighting a war on two fronts. This is what he loves. He's a wartime kind of dude. He's the guy that you want at the top of the company when this kind of shit is going down. I'm excited to see it. I can't wait. As you said, I can't wait to hear what he has to say about all this. We're not going to have to wait too long to hear. And I don't think he's going to take it lying down. I'm here for it all.
I mean, her talking about the finances, the deal, fighter pay,
employee.
Yeah. Look, I did see some people saying, why wasn't she talking about this stuff, in 2015? And it's a fair thing to bring up, no doubt about it. It's also fair to say people change, people evolve, people see the light, people remove themselves and feel a certain way. Who knows? Her motives are her motives, but that doesn't take away, in my opinion, from what she's saying. And there's not that many people who are willing to say those things and are in a position to say those things without any type of backlash. So
anybody who's asking that question is coming from the wrong place. And there's no other way to say it other than that. The whataboutism is like kind of sickening, to be honest. Like if
Always.
if you believe that what Ronda Rousey is saying right now in 2026 is the correct thing and something that you align with and want to support, it doesn't matter if she didn't ask it in 2012. It doesn't matter if she didn't ask it in 2016. Unless you only care about being right? Unless you only care about the fact that, I was doing it back then, or this is the time that I was doing it and I've got these miles in the game and I was right all along. If you believe in what the message that she's saying, it doesn't matter when she was saying it. If she's saying it now and you still believe that, that's the proper time to say it. And it doesn't matter what her motivations were then. It doesn't matter what her motivations are now. I'm so sick of that shit. I'm so over the whataboutism of she wasn't riding with us. Who gives a fuck? She's doing it now, and this is the time to do it. Get over it. You want the plaudits, you want the credit for being right. Congratulations, but you're not moving the needle in the way that Ronda Rousey is. Anyway, that shit pisses me off.
No, I get it. It was wild to see her talking to the press. We hadn't seen her talk to the press in so long, the MMA media, and to see kind of that hate go away. Also, I got to say, there was a different edge to Francis this time. I believe him when he says that he doesn't care about the critics, but you could tell it motivates him in a certain way. There's a different type of edge to him out there. I was seeing him walk, and obviously Jake being involved and whatnot. It's just, I don't know. There was something about people. There was the people involved yesterday. And Philippe Lins was actually just a lovely guy who just seemed very happy to be there and appreciative of the moment. So shout out to him. I think, obviously. He's not a superstar. He hasn't fought since 2024. But he was on a winning streak and just kind of left and disappeared. So what an opportunity. Here's the picture right here. This is it. We got it from Daniel of Obama. Yeah, there I am, interviewing Obama. UFC 125. They even went ahead and got the little picture on the side there. They cracked it because Obama had smashed Volkman's head into that. Thought that was a nice little touch. So
it is
I was not lying.
Crazy to think about this shit.
Yeah, I was not lying. By the way, speaking of the White House card, guys, could we give a shout out to Ayman Zahabi, who's really laying it on thick here? Golly, I mean, he's really calling me out. He really wants to know whose side I'm on. He posted this video, which I have to say has made me very uncomfortable because I'm trying to stay down the middle. I'm trying to remain impartial, and he's really putting the gun to my head here. Here's Ayman being very aggressive and, dare I say, bully-like tactics being employed on me here.
So do you have anything to say to Ariel?
Ariel Helwani, my doppelganger, my twin brother. He's super professional, Ariel, so I'm sure he's gonna stay as impartial as possible. We're both from Montreal. We both came from nothing, and we have very similar background. I'm slightly more handsome than he is, but I feel like he can overlook that. And he'll have my back for this card. Both our parents immigrated from Lebanon to Montreal. Mm-hmm. We both work in the same industry in MMA. We both represent Canada on the world stage. I think he won the MMA awards for best journalist something like 12 years in a row. So basically, I won it. So I feel great about it.
When he calls you for a podcast, you're gonna say yes?
Yeah, I wonder if he's gonna call me. Ariel, you calling me for Monday's show or what? Monday, Tuesday, let me know, man. Let me know if we're on. Me and Ariel's, we gotta do an interview in the same place at the same time. It still hasn't happened. Maybe he'll come by, we'll do an interview face to face. Could be hilarious. I could show the world that I'm taller than Ariel.
First of all, no chance he's taller. Second of all, it was 15 times in a row. Third of all, you are going to come on, and we would love to have you. And is it fourth? I don't know. It's like Buzz in Home Alone. A to D. I can't pick a side. All right. I like both of you. You are bringing up good points. Montreal, Lebanon, all this stuff. You're bringing up great points. Not so sure about the better looking thing. The beard's looking fantastic. Shout out to the beard. Stop making me pick. All right. It's very un-Canadian-like of you, okay? We're supposed to be down the middle here. We're supposed to be peace and love, peace and love. But I am excited for him and happy for him. And it would be nice if, Sean had my back here. At the end of the day, we could be bought. We could be bought. Who can't be bought these days? Did you see that shot of John trying to buy off the referee in the dock?
Yeah, it was great.
Everyone could be bought. It was great. It was great. Shout out to Casey for putting that together. That was very fun. And we will definitely have him on. This was just a little bit of a weird week with the no show yesterday and then today. I did like that he said Tuesday. He knows the schedule now, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday cadence. He knows that. Best thing I saw yesterday, though, outside of all the feel goodness at the press conference, was this clip right here from Israel Adesanya and an old friend.
Pleasure having my bestie in the gym. So what's up, bestie? Hey, what's up, guys? Let's go. Thank you. Let's go. Always pushing me, no matter what. Ah.
I mean, who could have ever predicted that, right? A few years ago? Those two guys together, training together. Life is an amazing thing. Rob and Izzy together, Ronda and I shaking hands. Ronda and I shaking hands is not quite me and Dana, but it's not too far off. If I'm feeling like, if I'm being 100% honest, it didn't feel like it was too far off. So to experience that yesterday was a wild thing. It really was. But I'm happy it happened. I'm very happy it happened. We have any super chats, Frankie?
Super chats. I think I saw one or two in there. Is there any better press conference host than Ariel Helwani? When you start cooking, no one does it better.
I appreciate that. I don't know. I don't know if I'm the best at it. It's you go up there and it's a little bit like you're like, okay, it's different than doing this, that's for sure. And like I said, no script, no prompter. Fun doing it for MMA because I've got a whole compartment in there where I could just like bring stuff out. It was a lot of fun. But I don't know if who is the GOAT of the press conferences? I'm not sure. Who is the GOAT?
Dana.
Yeah. Next time I should just walk. That was actually.
You got the first question.
I thought I wanted to go long. Sometimes I don't like to go long. I wanted to go a little bit longer this time just to provide the context. Maybe it was too long. I don't know. I think Dana goes very short.
I think setting up the history was important. I was following with you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We're our worst critics around here. So. But no, I enjoyed it a lot, and I've definitely felt more comfortable doing it. It's not like a thing that you're kind of used to doing in my position, so I definitely feel more comfortable doing it. But I feel like we could always get better. What else, Frankie? What else?
Jake from Windy City says, "Bring a pocket knife just in case when going around LA."
Wow, really? I don't think so. I was in Venice yesterday. It didn't look that dangerous. And by the way, I'm walking around there with my Blue Jays hat, all right?
No.
I ain't afraid.
No.
I ain't
Have you
afraid.
seen American History X?
Nah, you're lying.
What? You think these guys are going to come after me
I'm just
because I'm wearing a Toronto Blue Jays hat?
Target on your back. Man.
Bring it on, Kike. I think he's playing in the World Baseball. Can we talk about the World Baseball Classic? Can we talk about Team USA? What the hell, GC? You're Mr. Team USA.
Hey, when does Mexico kick off today?
Yo. You hear about this, Pizzi?
No idea. I saw the thing you put in.
Oh my gosh, 7 p.m. tonight.
Pizzi, Team USA is 3-0. All right, they're about to play their fourth game. It's a round robin in the qualifying stages. There are 5 teams per pool, so you play 4 times, right? The manager of Team USA, and Team USA has probably its most loaded lineup ever, like as close to a dream team as you can get in this day and age. The manager of Team USA is a guy named Mark DeRosa, former, I believe, Texas Ranger. He's on MLB Network, TV channel here in the States, and he's talking to them about their upcoming match against Italy, which obviously is not a powerhouse, and truth be told, the vast majority of the team are a bunch of Italian Americans from like the East Coast. But the way the rules are, if you've got a grandfather, a grandmother, a mother, a father, a cousin from the country, they let you in. By the way, I see a lot of people. Then. There was no Irish team, but there's not a lot of Irish Americans who are good at baseball. There's a qualifying.
The guy, the redheaded dude with the took all the steroids. Get him out of retirement.
Mark McGuire.
McGuire, Irish name. Get him back.
Absolute
Come on, Mark.
1999, I think he last played. It is funny, though, I will say, the hypocrisy is great because Team Israel is just Jewish Americans. Everyone gets very upset about them, but they don't bring up Team Italy and all the other teams, but, that's the way it goes. Team Italy has, lower level MLB guys or minor leaguers. And the manager of Team USA says, we always want to win, but I want to get some guys in there, get them some action, get them some at-bats, things like that. We know we've punched our ticket to the quarterfinals. So obviously we're able to, have some guys play and this and that. Well, guess what? They didn't punch their ticket yet. So they played a lot of the benchers, and then Team Italy breaks it open, going up 8-0, ends up winning 8-6. It got a little squeaky bum time there. But to me, what I don't understand, so he's getting absolutely killed. He thought he had advanced, and they had not advanced. They had to win that game in order to secure 100% their spot by themselves without any help from others. What I don't understand is no one on his coaching staff, no one in the front office for Team USA said, actually, by the way, we do have to win this game if we want to guarantee our spot. Like, no one corrected him. He said this on national television. So he's getting killed. His lineup suggested that he thought it was a game of no real consequence. I don't know how. I've never seen that in all my years of watching sports, international sports, knowing how the rules are and whatnot. The manager thought that the game didn't matter, and as a result, they need, correct me if I'm wrong here, GC, they need Italy to beat Mexico in order to get in? Like, they do not control their own destiny. Is that right?
They need Italy to beat Mexico is automatic. If Mexico wins, it has to be 4-5,
right?
I think it's Italy scoring 5 or more means USA is in no matter what. If Mexico wins like a 4-2 game, USA is out, eliminated. And then after the game, I saw him being like, yeah, well, I just didn't realize we could get knocked out. And it's just like, are you
I misspoke,
serious?
He said. I misspoke. What? That's insane, man.
Yeah, it's
you know what kind of a disaster that would be for this?
Next level.
Those games
What happens if Italy loses? Are they in or are they out?
Italy is in no matter what.
Okay. If you're Italy, do you...
That's what everyone's saying.
Wait. Italy is out if Mexico wins a low-scoring game. If Mexico wins, it comes down to runs. If Italy wins, then Italy is through. Italy and USA are through.
Okay, because I'm thinking, what if you're Mexico and you want to get USA out, you just let Mexico win in a low-scoring game, but you're saying then they're out as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or what if they both agree and they're just like, all right, Mexico, you just win 1-0 and we'll both be through.
Oh, so they will. Italy will get through if Mexico wins 1-0.
Someone.
I would let it happen. That's what I would do.
Well, a lot of people said they should just both walk up to the plate without holding a bat and just both let it end 0-0 just to F the USA.
Let them score. Just walk 4 guys. Mexico.
Here's the breakdown.
And that's how they win.
If Italy wins, they advance and USA advances.
Yep.
If Mexico wins and scores 5+ runs, they advance and USA advances.
Yep.
If Mexico wins and scores 4 or less runs, they advance and Italy advances. So the U.S. needs either Italy to win outright or Mexico to win by 5 or more runs.
Wait, but
that's
wait.
Squeaky bum.
Right? They just have to score 5 or more runs, not the point differential between them, right?
Yes, win and score 5+ runs.
Yeah.
I think it's about the amount of points,
Right.
runs and all that.
It's like a 5-4 Mexico win gets them.
If Mexico wins by 4 anything, USA's out.
Yeah, 4-3-2-1.
If Mexico wins 4-3, yes, USA is out.
4-1, 4-2, 4-3. They are
insane.
4-3 or 2 or 1. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They need a pitching gem tonight to keep us out.
Oh,
It's
I feel like the
unbelievable.
collusion that could happen between Italy and Mexico
Why would you
right now
not?
is insane.
Why would you not? USA was -110 going into the tournament.
Happens in the World Cup every year. With final game of the group stages, people go, what's the best thing we can do for each other here?
Oh, 100%.
Mexico
What's
is gonna
interesting
be
is
like-
the vast majority of these Italian players are American.
Oh, yeah.
They're just not good enough to play for the United States. And, the Italian team has been very fun. They've had like a whole espresso bar in the dugout. Like they've really played it up very well. But these guys could screw the likes of Aaron Judge and Bryce Harper. Like these.
I love this drama.
I love how they go down 8-0 and then they're like, all right, we should probably just try and win the game. And they almost came back. They lost 8-6.
They almost came back. The best part about it is this game was relegated to Tubi, and now they've moved it to, I think, Fox Sports 1 because there's so much interest in it now. Like they were just, this game meant nothing because everyone expected the U.S. to just roll right through the qualification stage, and now here they are. And the semis and the quarters and semis and finals, I know the semis and finals are in Miami. I think the quarters are also in Houston as well. Point is, it's all in the United States, and the crowds will still be amazing. Dominican Republic and all that. Canada, actually, if Canada wins today, by the way, we're looking at a scenario. If Canada beats Cuba today, we're going through, and you guys might be in our dust. What a turn of events that would be after what happened at the Olympics. But anyway,
You guys might be
the crowds.
Venezuela undefeated. They play Dominican Republic. Andy, stand up. Shout out.
Yeah, shout out.
I'm gonna have to come in my Dominican Republic jersey if USA gets knocked out.
Oh my God, you'd switch that fast?
What else am I gonna do? I have to cheer for someone. USA's bounced.
That is crazy work. You'd switch that fast, huh? Wow.
What do you want me to do? It's every 3 years. You got to cheer for someone. We didn't even make it out of the group stage.
By the way, did you guys see Stephen A. Smith yesterday talking about?
Sure did.
Oh my gosh, what is going on here?
I just want to preface this. Dana White is a best friend of mine. Nick Khan is a close family friend. TKO is paying me to say this right now. Just kidding. He didn't go that far, but
he did go that. I was like, what? Did I miss that?
Prefacing this statement with I'm really good friends with the guys at the top of TKO, and I gotta say they're doing good.
He said similar things when Dana had the incident with his wife as well.
Yeah,
everything was.
I love Stephen A. Stephen A. has always been great to me, so I'll preface this as well. But the quote, boxing has been completely contaminated by promoters.
Friend.
Who have not prioritized giving the people what we want when we want. I know that ain't going to be Dana White. To say that when we're in the midst of a run here where they're not giving us the fights in MMA, in his bread and butter.
That's not going to be Dana White, though. It's nothing to do with him.
All that tells me, honestly, the real takeaway there is Stephen A. Smith used to watch or was aware of MMA 5 years ago, right? Like that was a thing. There was a time where that was absolutely true, and it is not true anymore. And he hasn't kept up with it.
It's freezing cold takes like those usually take like a year or two. This was freezing
Instant.
cold on arrival.
Yeah,
on arrival.
I think it was just an incorrect take.
or that. Frankie, what else we got?
There's one MMA legend who I would love to see on this card or any Netflix card. He is ever so deserving of a huge payday. Nick Diaz.
Is there a desire to see Nick Diaz on this card?
That BMF clip probably helped him.
Where was
that cinematography of him sitting in the bar watching the BMF title? No.
Yeah, that was great.
I'd rather see Nate than Nick, but I'm still down. Right? Like
Nate v. Nick.
No, come on. They would never do that. But if the whole concept of this card, right? The fact that Gina Carano is in this event is homage to, the stars of yesteryear. I think Nick, would be in that same vein, and I'm down for it. You obviously have to find the right matchup, but I think Nate is more what a modern audience is familiar with.
What else, Frankie? What else?
To John Jones or anyone who knows him, Ariel holds no grudges and no better place to speak your truth to power than the Ariel Helwani Show. You have important things to say, and we would like to hear it. Let's talk, champ.
Love it.
Let's go, champ. Hey, we saw John on the Uncrowned film, so perhaps that's a bridge to getting him on the program. What do you say, Johnny? What do you say? We're here. Shake hands. I got your back. I think John is owed more than $30 million for his next fight. But if that's the number, that's the number. He deserves it. I would love to see it. Thank you, Mossayed. What else, Frankie? What else?
Opinion on Arman being removed from the pound-for-pound rankings?
Is that true? Yeah, is that a bullshit? Is that true? Was he in the pound-for-pound? Well, I'm looking at the pound-for-pound right now. I don't know. Was he in it before? And also, the uncrowned pound-for-pound, way more prestigious, in my opinion. And I think we had him in there, did we not? I can look this up as well. But Max Holloway, it says here, jumped up. Wait, no, did he jump up? He went down 5 spots. Joshua Van's in there. Dricus Duplessis in there. Charles Oliveira.
We have him in our again, right back in those heavyweight rankings. Big deal.
We have Arman at number 10.
He's 10th. Oh, okay. All right, yeah, I was looking. Yeah, okay. So what are you talking about? You talking about the UFC? I don't know. Did he get removed? But did he get removed? Let's see.
He's saying removed.
No, yeah. I mean, he just got outvoted. He's still number 2 in the lightweight. So who cares? It means nothing. What else, Frankie? What else?
Which fight was canceled Thursday or Friday? You mentioned Ilya was not scheduled to fight at the White House until the day before. What fight was being considered until then?
I don't know for sure. I do know the timing if you figure it out. They only talked about Justin versus Ilya late Friday, early Saturday. So is it possible they found out that Islam was out? If you look at Ali's tweet earlier in the week, it would seem to suggest that he was talking about a potential fight there. I'd be lying if I say right here and now, I know exactly what it is, but I feel like the The signs point to that. I also kind of think, like, who cares? We know it's not the John Jones fight. We know the whole story behind the Islam fight. Like, there's nothing bigger than that, right? Colby Covington spoke to MMA Junkie today and said that the White House card is piss poor at best, quote unquote. The fans have spoken. They said they hate it. It's a terrible card. They promised 6 or 7 title fights. Now they have 1 title fight and an interim title fight they just put together in the last minute. The thing was so disorganized. They put it together last minute. There wasn't any big high-ranking American fighters. Who are the guys representing America on the 250th birthday of America? It seems like they don't care anymore. They made all the money with Paramount, and they're just happy it is what it is. Golly, add Colby to the mix. Dylan Dennis' opponent, March 28th, RAF. Colby Covington going against the White House? What timeline are we living in here, guys?
Crazy.
By the way, speaking of the White House, did you guys see this? The UFC and FBI partner for historic first exclusive training seminar. UFC athletes will hold an exclusive training seminar for FBI personnel at the FBI Special Agent Academy in Quantico, Virginia. March 14th and March 14th and 15th. What's Quantico?
Isn't that where the CIA is? I feel like I've heard that in like a Mission Impossible.
Yeah, the FBI.
Quantico?
If I'm being honest, I liked Quantico better.
It can't be Quantico.
It sounds like a resort. It's
Let's
like,
go
it's
down
like
to
the coast or something.
Go, baby.
Yeah. It feels more exotic.
Let's see what Cash Patel's got to say. I feel like we have a #1 hit on our hands.
Speaking of Mr. Patel, quote, I'm thrilled to announce this historic seminar between the FBI and the UFC at Quantico. That's how they spelled it. This is a tremendous opportunity for our FBI agents to learn and train with some of the greatest athletes on earth. So there you go.
So just clearing it up, Quantico is actually its own television show on ABC. Shout out. It's also where the Marine Corps base is.
Nice. Justin Gaethje, Jorge Masvidal, Chris Weidman, Claudia Gadelha, Michael Chandler, Manel Kape, Renzo Gracie going to be involved. So the lines are blurring even more. What else, Frankie? What else?
And lastly, would big MMA stars go beyond just talking and actually do something for fighter pay? A letter to Congress opposing the Ali Act and for Ali Act to MMA, signed by JBJ, Conor, Ronda, and others would be a start.
I don't really think that they need to write anything, to be honest, because Congress, the government doesn't oversee MMA, so it's not really they're gonna be like, okay, thank you. It does beg the question, why don't they? Why isn't there some kind of Ali Act for MMA? Like, I feel like we've reached the point that we clearly deserve it, meaning the sport
who would
deserves
advocate for it? Who makes this?
No one. No one's gonna advocate for it. I know, but it is wild. Yeah, no, it is wild. Yeah, I mean, or some sort of, like a John McCain type of personality, right?
Human cockfighting, baby.
It requires somebody actually caring about what happens, and nobody is going to do that. It's the environment it's changed. We're going the other direction on the boxing side with the Revival Act. It just wouldn't happen. It's crazy.
Doesn't seem like there's any. There was a couple of times where there was associations and
Bjorn Repney, shout out.
Bjorn, that was the shortest lived. That was literally 5 days.
The best.
I don't even know if it lasted 5 days.
Bjorn Repney, baby, dare to dream.
The best one was like, baby. It's like Cowboy, Mr. UFC is in it, and then like they ask him later, and he's like, I didn't even know what this was.
Nope.
Like, I'm out.
TJ Dillashaw and him just immediately, fuck, no. They don't like this.
Like, shit. They announced it on, I think, a Thursday, and then Cerrone was fighting in Toronto the next week at a pay-per-view. So like on the Wednesday, the media day, it was like, yep, I'm like, it was less than a week.
Book this, boys.
Yeah. I'm out. No, thank you. He got a call. There's no doubt about that. He got a call, and they were like, yeah, about all the stuff we did for you. And it seemed like, I don't know if they understood who Bjorn was. I don't know. It was wild.
How could they not understand who Bjorn was? I mean,
I don't know.
Ridiculous.
It was like one afternoon of holy shit, and then it as quickly as it arrived, it just disappeared. But this is different. These are different times. I do feel like we have been here before, guys. You know this. We have been here before where there's unrest, where there's upheaval, where there's people speaking out from time to time. What does this all mean? I think a lot of people are getting is, this guy's going to go here and this person's going to sign there, or this is going to change. Like, they've got a lot of power and a lot of time and equity in the sport. Like, it's going to take a very long time for anyone to make any kind of change. It is interesting to see it all kind of happen at the same time. And I think a lot of the stuff that Ronda was saying was accurate. And honestly, it's a lot of the stuff that we have been saying for a very long time about the sort of spark not being there. So again, I think Conor might stand to gain the most from all of this, meaning there'll be some sort of motivation to get him back in the mix. That would be a nice little response to all of this. I don't know. It's fascinating times. Fascinating times. Is there another question, or
there
you said
is
that was
one
the last
more.
one? Oh,
Ariel,
okay.
is Richard Schaefer still managing John Jones? I remember him saying negotiating with the UFC is a completely different ballgame. Also, how do you think Eddie would do as a manager?
Richard Schaefer is not. He was more of his consultant. Now he works with the Kawa brothers again, and also has a lawyer who does a lot of his business dealings. So that didn't last very long. And Eddie as a manager, I mean, I don't think Eddie really wants to be a manager per se. He's got a massive business, but I think that he would be a great negotiator and someone who obviously knows the ins and outs of the fight business. When he's sitting next to me and he's breaking things down, it's like, golly, this guy knows what he's doing. He knows about, what makes dollars and cents in the fight business. So I think he would do very well, but I don't think that's what he ultimately wants to do. And it gets a little tricky because of the Ali Act. You can't be a promoter and a manager. I know this is a different sport, but I don't think you'd want to blur those lines too much. So I think he would do great, but I don't think that's his ultimate goal in all of this. That was the last one, right?
Yes, sir.
Alrighty. Believe that's it. Bit of a shorter show. Okay, wow. I wasn't quite ready for the music.
I listened
but
to the
that's fine.
director before I listened to you.
Bit of a shorter show today, but that's okay because we gave you 2 hours in Mike Tyson, and we gave you yesterday, and we also gave you obviously the Gable doc. So check that out if you haven't just yet. Really, really great access. Really, really fun stuff. So go check it out. Great stuff from John as well. I thought John came off quite well as a very passionate and good attentive friend. And loyal friend. Yeah, and training partner. It was cool to see. Crack coming up on Friday. Petesy and the boys. BITB back tomorrow. 415-SUP-BITB. Number to call. Leave a voicemail. What are we doing? Breakdown of the return to the Apex. Is this the first Apex?
Fight?
Is this the first? No, it's not the first Apex of the Paramount era, right? Yeah. No. What do we got?
Yeah, we're breaking down every single fight on UFC Apex 114.
Hell yeah.
Voicemails. Pound for pound is still TBD, still up in the air.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. We're going to figure something out.
Still working on it?
Yeah, we thought about Oscars, but...
What about something Argentinian inspired?
Yeah, we're workshopping. We'll figure it out. We'll get there.
Kevin Vallejos. No. Vallejos. It's a doozy, those double L's. I want to get it right. It's tripping me up like Jasmine. Great stuff, Petesy. Great stuff, everyone in the back. Thank you very much to everyone for their love and support. I appreciate you all very much. Thank you very much to Mike Tyson. Check out the MTI starting tomorrow. Thanks to all of you. Back on Thursday, same time and place. Until then, I say peace. I'm out of here.